Alrighty. Whew. Okay. Hello everyone, Eureka First Safe here, and today I will be playing the visual novel game Antonym Obscure. I'm just getting some stuff set up still, so give me a moment please. Move the mic a little closer to my mouth. Open the game. My model not moving. Okay. What's going on? Oh, because my phone. Up. Okay, cool. Alright, the music is kind of loud. Let me wait until my stream catches up. Sound volume is still kind of loud. Sound, I'll lower that a little bit more. I think this is a good. Maybe a little more, and I will just up the volume on my end. Okay, the sound is still a little bit loud. There we go. I think this is good. There we go. I think this is good. Okay, I think this is good. Let me open up the game on itch. Okay, take off my earphone because audio seems to be good. Alrighty, I will just quickly read the story description for the game. Nishikino Haruto is down in the dumps. He's already 26, but he doesn't have a lot to show for it other than a room in a small rundown apartment complex, a cruddy job of obnoxious coworkers, and a mountain of regrets. When Haruto was younger, he was part of a band at school, the unappreciated egoists. He had vague dreams of making it big and standing on stage with his fellow band members, the aloof Ryo, the laid-back Taiki, the womanizing Kei, and the self-conscious prodigy Akira. But Haruto's dreams didn't pan out, and the band eventually dissolved. The unappreciated egoists went their own ways, and that was the end of that. Until Akira puts together a band of his own years later, which somehow rockets all the way to superstardom. Now Haruto can't escape from Akira's band Obscure, its mega hit Eternal Autumn, or the complicated feelings he has for Akira. Haruto resents Akira for his success, but he finds himself drawn to his former friend regardless. When Haruto learns that Obscure will be playing locally, he begins to wonder, what will happen if he sees Akira again? And does Akira even remember who he is? Yee! I'm so excited. I can't wait to start. It's also a linear game, so no choices. It's just kind of like a straightforward, basically as close to the word visual novel as it is, so there's going to be a lot of reading. I made sure to do my best to hydrate. So let us begin. Actually, let me take another sip of water before I start. Alrighty, I also have some tea too. Oops. Ooh, why did I put that so close to one of my cords? Whoa. But yeah, I hope you're all doing well today. It's getting pretty cold where I'm at, so stay warm if you live in the States. Since winter is coming soon. Okay, let me get out of my browser. Alrighty, let us start. Okay, let me actually up the volume a little bit. Okay. Let's make sure that doesn't translate over. Just want to make sure everything sounds okay. I'm just putting on my earphones again, just to double check. Okay, it sounds good on the stream. Thank goodness. Okay, let us actually begin. I'm guessing this is Haruto? I guess I'll just have him speak in my regular speaking voice. I can't stand the song Eternal Autumn, which is pretty unfortunate since it's really freaking popular. Wait, okay. Do I have to click? Oh! Save, load, config. Okay. Anybody who's anybody knows Eternal Autumn. It's so beloved, I'm afraid it really will wind up being eternal. Okay, enter does work. Worried for a second there. It only came out 6 months ago, but it's one of those songs with staying power. Kind of like, Wonderwall. In fact, if you've heard Wonderwall, you've heard Eternal Autumn. They sound kind of similar. They're both rock songs, ostensibly at least, but they're super schmaltzy, with these simple chord progressions and these whiny sad boy vocals. I'd argue Eternal Autumn is worse than Wonderwall, actually, because Eternal Autumn is in Japanese, so I can actually understand all of the lyrics. In part, I guess. I can understand the lyrics on a surface level, but they're kind of convoluted. The song is full of weird imagery, artsy-fartsy shit like, together we stand against the tide of time, trapped in a snow globe, two lives aligned, and... yeah, I'm not even gonna go into it. Eternal Autumn was just one of the tracks on Obscure's newest album, Polychromia. The other tracks let me start that again. The other tracks on the album are all standard Obscure stuff. There's a bit of bite to it. A whole load of crunchy guitars, a bunch of pained, tortured lyrics which sound like cries for help, but Eternal Autumn's a different beast from everything else on that album. Hell, it's a different beast to everything Obscure's been putting out for the last 5 years. Obscure's a rock band, but their sound tends to lean pretty heavy. They don't exactly scream in any of their songs. They're not doing metal here. And they have some pretty catchy melodies, but their music's not always been radio-friendly. I'd say their usual stuff is kind of aligned with some earlier Visual K groups. They're not as edgy as old Deer on Grey or as experimental as Malice Miser, but maybe there's somewhere in the middle? Obscure have been decently popular ever since their debut album, Grey Flowers for a Gloomy Girl, but they were popular in this niche under... Oops. I read that wrong. Obscure have been decently popular ever since their debut album, Grey Flowers for a Gloomy Girl, but they were popular in this niche... Oops, I did it again. But they were popular in this niche underground kind of a way. They've always had a boatload of fans, of course. Their official Insta account has a cool 1 million followers, but they were never big. Their albums sold well, they went on tours across the country, they've even been on tour across Europe a few times, and I'd occasionally see them on talk shows when flipping through the TV channels late at night. I know Rosario, the bassist, has been in a bunch of men's perfume ads. Rosario is not his real name, by the way, and Caleb, the lead guitarist, is a male model. That is his real name. The guy's half Japanese, half English, I believe. I think. Whoops. But they weren't amazingly famous. They weren't household names or anything. But that all changed when Polychromia came... Oh my god. Whoops. Let me start over again. But that all changed when Polychromia came out earlier this year, and Eternal Autumn became the most goddamn popular song on the planet. It's all over TikTok. Not that I use TikTok, even if I am the right demographic for it. And people are talking about it all over social media. Several high-profile singers have covered it, and it's already been arranged to high heaven and back. I was never Obscure's biggest fan, even when they were about as obscure as their name suggested, but the Eternal Autumn insanity isn't doing them any favors. Why is he coping so hard? Lately, it feels like I've not been able to go a single day without hearing it. Okay, let me see how everything sounds. Okay, audio is still good. Whew! I got a little bit paranoid for a second there. Lately, it feels like I've not been able to go a single day without hearing it. I just stepped out to go Christmas shopping for my family and my few friends, but I've been dogged by Eternal fucking album for the last 2 hours. I've been inside about a dozen shops, and I've heard that song play in the last 3 stores I went into, and no, I am not kidding. It's December, so you'd think these stores would have started to play Christmas music already. I think I'd welcome... Whoops, sorry. I'm about to burp. Excuse me. Okay. Oops. There we go. I'll put my mouse... Actually, I'll put it there. It's December, so you'd think these stores would have started to play Christmas music already. I think I'd welcome that, actually, over Eternal Album, but no! I can't have what I want. That would be too easy. Fuck. I can't stand that song. Not the breathy vocals, or the flanger effect on the guitars, or the lyrics that should be insipid, but they actually sound kind of deep and poetic the more you listen to them, and... that's it. I'm officially over this. I was able to buy a few gifts without going postal at least, so I'm going to count that as a victory. I might as well head back home now. I still want to buy a few more things, but I can do that later. I'd like to think this little shopping excursion was a net positive, even if I was non-consensually subjected to Eternal Autumn. Oh my god, it's subjected to Eternal Autumn more times than any man should be. And besides, it's early December in Hokkaido, and it's really freaking cold. Since I've gotten most of it over and done with, I might as well go back now. I still want to pick up a couple of gifts for my friends, But thinking about it, we weren't all that close. I do have friends. I'm not completely pathetic. Please don't look at me like that. But they're not BFFs. As a guy, I feel like it's hard to make close friends in general. Men tend not to get too touchy-feely, and we don't tend to be all that emotional either. I have to get gifts from my parents, since they're my parents and all. They did raise me, and I can't exactly ignore my little sister, but the guys at the office? Kunikita, Sasayama, and the others. Forget it. It's not like they need me to get them anything nice. In fact, knowing Sasayama, he'd probably say it's gay for men to buy one another Christmas gifts, which, I mean, yeah, I am gay, so I guess everything I do is inherently gay, but I don't think buying people presents is an act performed solely by homosexuals. Real. If that really was the case, I think parents all across the world would be pretty opposed to the idea of Santa coming down their chimneys for their children. Oh my god, man. Well, whatever. It's cold, I'm tired, and I don't want to bother buying a gift for Sasayama so he can roll his eyes at me and say, "Thanks, man, but I'm still not gonna get off with you if that's what you're after." I just want to go home. I pause at the crosswalk, my carry a bag of goods in my hand. I'm waiting for the light to turn green. I'm ready to head on back to the station, but while I'm glancing about, something catches my eye. There's a large billboard over yonder on one of the skyscrapers which overlooks downtown Sapporo. And what do you know? Four very familiar faces are emblazoned on that massive billboard. Faces I know a little too well. There's the bassist, Rosario, looking a little like a debauched pirate in this shirt with strings that's open at the front, and Caleb, the lead guitarist, wearing a choker and looking all plaintive. Toa, the drummer... I keep messing up. Oops. Toa, the drummer, is kind of in the back, looking all mysterious, but he's definitely the least interesting of the bunch. He doesn't have a fancy stage name, and he's not part European, and though he's a pretty good musician, he's a drummer. Nobody ever gives a damn about the drummers. In fact, I'm prepared to bet most of the casual obscure fans don't even know who Toa is. They could walk past him on the street and they wouldn't know him from your average salaryman, the poor guy. It's almost reassuring, in a grim sort of way, to know that even a drummer from a band as famous as Obscure can't catch a break. Ooh, the music changed. But the main focus of the billboard is given to Obscure's frontman, the vocalist, second guitarist, and the occasional keyboardist. The frontman, Usui Akira, is looking all sad and plaintive in black, even sadder and plaintiver and blacker than Toa in the back, who's all shrouded in shadow. Akira's hair is coal black, while his skin is snow white, like a fairy tale princess. His nose and his ears are studded with silver, and though his lips are pursed ever so slightly, I know his tongue is pierced too. He's wearing this casually scuffed outfit which should look try-hard, a ripped black shirt and a black leather jacket, complete with these incredibly tight trousers, but it actually manages to make him look sexy. Usui Akira is my age. Well, he's about a month younger than I am, but he positively oozes cool. He's this quiet, retiring guy, really. Rosario and Caleb tend to speak the most during their interviews, but on these billboards, Akira dominates. He looks so striking with those dark eyes of his that I find myself frozen in place. The traffic lights already changed. I can hear the cars screeching to a halt on the road, but I don't budge. I can't bring myself to. His presence is so overwhelming that it takes me a moment to realize this billboard was not, in fact, erected solely for the worship of Obscure's frontman. There's actually text on it, large, bold text, announcing to the world that Obscure will be putting on a concert in Sapporo soon. It looks like this is part of Obscure's Polychromia tour to celebrate their newly released album. According to this billboard, Obscure will be playing at the Hyoiku Bunka Kaikan on the 24th of December? Huh. So it's a Christmas Eve concert, is it? That's pretty soon. And it's kind of daring, too. I imagine most people will have other plans for Christmas Eve. It is a holiday you're supposed to spend with your loved ones. But if anybody can pull in a crowd, even during a big holiday like Christmas Eve, it'll be Obscure. I wonder how long this billboard's been up here. They must have announced this concert a few months in advance, but I never realized they were going to play so close to home. I don't come into Sapporo all that often, since I live out in Ebetsu, so I guess I didn't see it. I have been checking obscure socials. I like how he says, like, I'm totally not a fan of this band, but I mean, I stay up to date with all of their socials, so how did I miss this date of their concert here? And I saw the initial announcement for the Polychromia tour, but I didn't look at the dates or the locations too closely. I might have a passing familiarity with Obscure's activities, and you could say I'm intimately familiar with Usui Akira, but I'm not a fan of theirs. I'd rather suffer the indignity of buying Sasayama a Christmas gift, only to have him affectionately call me, ooh, I'm not gonna say that word, oh my god, than go and attend an Obscure concert, especially on Christmas Eve. I might be pretty sad, yeah. It's not like I have a partner, and I don't have all that many friends, but I'm not so sad I demean myself by going to a concert held by a band I don't like all that much. That's what I keep telling myself, at least. So, why does it feel like Akira's eyes are boring straight into mine? Interesting. It takes about half an hour for me to get back to my home in Ebetsu, by which point I feel totally drained. My place is a 15-minute walk away from the station, and it's freezing cold outside. It actually started to snow, and my hair's a little damp from the fluffy flakes. I'm relieved I was able to make it back to my apartment in one piece, but I'm shivering badly as I tramp up the stairs to my cruddy apartment. Oh gosh, excuse me. Okay. Let me go. There we go. Let's see. Yeah, I just had dinner not too long ago. Kind of one of my weird new favorite food combos. Don't knock it till you try it. It's spaghetti with meat sauce with sliced avocado on top. Then I like shave some Parmesan cheese on top, and if I want to add a little bit more flavor, I'll put garlic powder, onion powder, and a little bit of black pepper on top too. I wonder if the flavor profile will change if I tried it with white pepper. I might try that next time. But this time I just put cheese on top. Oh, it's so good. Just like I think the creaminess of the avocado mixes really well with like the tomato sauce I use for the meat sauce that I make. Very, very good. But anyway, let me get back into reading. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be quiet in this section or not. Yeah. Let me continue reading. My fingers are frozen even inside my gloves, and I fumble ineffectually with my key for a few times. First failing to stick it in the fucking keyhole. Please don't let that be a future omen. Then managing to drop it on the floor. Fuck. I curse under my breath, the sound short and sharp in the icy air. What a pain. I live in a pretty cruddy apartment block, which was built all the way back in, I don't know, maybe the 70s? I'm not sure, but it's ugly as sin. And it's been poorly maintained, and the heating's not very reliable. All in all, the place is a dump, but I guess it's my dump. I've called this place home ever since I moved out of my parents' home a couple of years ago, and I guess I'm attached to it. Kinda, sorta? Well, no, maybe not. I can't pretend to love this place. It's so cramped there's not enough room to swing a cat about, and the radiators never seem to work. I'm not exactly living the high life here, but I have my nice, cozy bed, and I guess I love my bed. I've not had a proper relationship in... Man, I don't even want to think about how long. Just some tepid affair back in uni with some Chinese exchange student that ultimately went nowhere count, but I can always rely on my bed. It's probably the closest thing I have to a life partner, which... Okay, I know that sounds bad, but who doesn't love their bed? It's so nice and warm, especially during the winter. Please wait for me, my wonderful bed. I'm coming for you, just as soon as I get the stupid fucking door open. I finally let myself in. I finally let myself inside, my fingers still spasming, and throw off my coat. My gloves are the next to go. It's not like they did me much good. Then my scarf and my shoes. Newly undressed, I make a beeline straight for my bed. So tired, I don't even bother to turn on the lights. Oh, Sin's instrument here. I think that's his radiator on the window, and then his keyboard is like propped up against a shelf of some sort. I'm dimly aware that I should change out of my hoodie, which is damp and cold from the snow, but I don't have the energy for that. I just want to lie here and vegetate, while the wind sighs outside and the snow drums against the window pane. I've not been lying here for all that long, but I can feel myself thawing out already. Sleep is beginning to settle on me, just like the snow that's piling up outside. But a familiar face keeps swimming before my eyelids, no matter how fiercely I bury my face against the pillows. I can't stop thinking about Akira. I wish I could say that this is a first for me, lying awake at night, thinking of Obscure's frontman, but this happens more often than I'd like to admit to. It's been hard for me to avoid thinking about that stupid band, and it's gotten even worse since Eternal Autumn blew the fuck up. I know it's because of Akira that Obscure have become so, well, unobscure, despite their stupid name. Eternal Autumn has to be one of Akira's songs. It has his fingerprints all over it. Eternal Autumn is a love song through and through, but there's a melancholy undercurrent to the whole thing. Cold, sharp fragments of pain wrapped up in cotton candy. The song is full of regrets, so much so it's positively bursting at the seams. It's a song of days gone by, of a romance unfulfilled. It's a song about a love story which never had a happy ever after, which advanced far enough to have a once upon a time. It's a song about the past, days we'll never get back. It's a song about Akira, and I'm pretty sure it's a song about me. Oh, well, at least he's aware of that. I was about to say, like, does he not know this song is probably about their previous relationship? Despite my supposed hatred of Obscure, I still find myself reaching for my phone in my back pocket. I slide it free, though it's a little awkward to get it out under the covers, then start to search. I bring up a familiar YouTube channel, one I've been subscribed to for 5 years, ever since Obscure debuted. Then I click on their most viewed video by far, Eternal Autumn, with its whopping 300 million views. I set the video to play, and from the very beginning, I'm entranced. For a moment, I even wonder if Akira is thinking about me, if he knows I'm still watching him. Does he know that I never once forgot about him? And would it even make a difference at this point, if he did? It might have been 8 years since Akira and I went to school together, but I can still remember what he looked like, what he acted like. I can remember it only too well. Ooh, flashback time. Exciting. Usui Akira was a shy boy, insecure and anxious, who transferred into Minato High in his last year. He moved to Sapporo with his mother when he was 17, though I don't think he moved too far. I'm pretty sure he told me he was born in Hokkaido, only he came from a city a little further north. I don't remember all of the precise details. It's been a while, and we had a lot of meandering conversations peppered with meaningless words. Oh my god. Excuse me. I thought my food digested properly before I started this, but I guess not. Okay. Let me start this again. I don't remember all of the precise details. It's been a while, and we had a lot of meandering conversations peppered with meaningless words. He told me a little about his family, about his father, who had divorced his mother to marry his secretary. Why his secretary of all things? Isn't that a little cliche? And his mother, who'd done his best to raise him on her own. He told me a little about the old schools he's been to, and how he'd been teased for being so shy, unusually so for such a tall boy. But we mostly talked about music. I used to play the drums, while Kira still is, I guess, a guitarist. We played different instruments, but I dabbled a little when I was younger, so I knew some of the basics. He'd ask me for advice, and I did my best to help him. I tried to give him moral support, or maybe it'd be more accurate to say I tried to give him a kick in the backside so he could stand on his own 2 feet. I'm not sure how I felt about Akira even now. I think a part of me found his self-effacing attitude annoying, but another part of me envied his skills. He really was talented, and the funny thing is, I don't think he realized it. He can't have done, or he wouldn't have come to me asking about his playing so often. That's right, it's all coming back to me. I can remember the run up to the school culture festival. I can remember the run up to the school culture festival and the set list that Real helped us devise. I remember how worked up Akira was about performing in front of the school in the gymnasium, his first ever performance. I remember our club room, which was always a bit of a mess, since it was mostly used as a remedial classroom for kids struggling with their literacy skills. Colorful educational posters that would have been more suitable for a primary school tacked up on the walls. I remember the faint, sticky smell of cherry soda which permeated the air, after Kay accidentally dropped a bottle of the stuff during one practice session and it spattered everywhere. And I remember the washed-out sunlight of the setting sun as it filtered in through the blinds, hitting the beige wall opposite in stripes like a tiger's pelt. I remember... Oh! Okay. What voice should I give Akira? Hey, Haruto. Oh, wait. That sounded not right. Hey, Haruto. I was feeling around a little with the arrangement of Sakura Panic, and I think the bridge between the verse and chorus sounds a little... Oh, wait, he's still talking. Oh my god. Whoops. I was fiddling around a little with the arrangement of Sakura Panic, and I think the bridge between the verse and chorus sounds a little more dynamic like this. Would you mind if I showed you? Huh? I glanced at Akira disinterestedly, a rag in one hand and a bottle of disinfectant in the other. I only hung around in the club room after our other band members, Kei and Ryo and Taiki, skedaddled so I could do some maintenance on my old drum kit. It's a little beat up. Well, drummers are meant to beat up their drums, I guess, so I wanted to give it a little bit of a clean. It felt like the right time, especially since the school culture festival is coming up and we're supposed to be playing. I just want my drums to look presentable. It's not like I stayed back because I wanted to listen to more of Akira's neurotic ramblings about music. In fact, that's the last thing I want to hear right now. I just want to clean my drum kit and head on home. That was my plan at least, but... Are you looking for my advice again? If you wouldn't mind, I know that you helped Ryo write this song, so I wanted to see what your opinion was. I'm afraid it might disrupt the flow of the piece a little. It sounds good with just the guitar, at least I think it does, but I wasn't sure how it would work with the drums. So that's why he's so interested in what I have to say, is it? Well, it's nice to know he cares enough to ask, rather than ad-libbing during the concert like some ego-tripping asshole, but... I barely wrote this song. I only gave Ryo a couple of ideas. I'm not that into composition, you know. I've been into music since I was about 5, and by into music, I mean I worked my way through the piano, the guitar, and the mandolin, don't ask, before I settled on the drums, but I'm not that much of a nerd. I might have helped Ryo out on a few of the Light Music Club's original songs, Sakura Panic, Tokimeki Check-In, and Synapse Relapse, but I only gave a few suggestions. Songwriting isn't really my forte. I'm not exactly on Gak's level here, but I guess I'm not completely hopeless. I don't see why Akira always comes to me for advice, though. If he wanted any help, he'd be better off asking Ryo, but Akira doesn't talk to Ryo all that much. Akira's been part of the light music club since early May, but he doesn't really speak to anybody except me. I don't know why Akira's latched onto me in particular, but I guess I don't hate it. It's almost endearing in its own way, but there's only so much help I can give him. I wish he'd hashed this stuff out with Ryo instead, but... I know that, but the others have already gone home. Yeah, 'cause you didn't ask them to stay and give you any advice, idiot. I can't really ask them now. And anyway, you're a little easier to talk to than the others. We are in the same class and all, so... Do you mind taking a listen? Jeez, I can see my plans turning to dust already before my very eyes. But what choice do I have? He's asking so nicely, I'd feel bad if I told him no. I don't want to upset Akira, but maybe this is why he always asks me for advice rather than Ryo or Kei or Taiki. It's 'cause I'm the only bleeding heart in the club who indulges him. Taiki's too busy helping out at his parents' store to hang around the music club all that much. And I know Kei's been busy hanging out with his girlfriend, and Ryo... Well, I don't really know where Ryo Let me try again. Well, I don't really know where Ryo fucks off to. He's pretty mysterious like that. Still, I don't have any real plans other than reading manga in my room until my mother calls me down for dinner, so... Alright, fine. If you want to play for me that bad, you might as well. Let's hear what you've come up with. Right, thank you, Haruto. It's no prob. Now, are you gonna hurry it along? Some of us have things to do. Like, read the latest chapter of Bleach. That's incredibly important. Not that I expect an honor student like Akira to know that. I bet he's never read a single issue of Shonen Jump in his life. He's way too studious. Right, of course. I'm sorry. Akira readjusts his grip on his guitar, then rests his fingers against the fretboard. There's a small pause, a moment of silence. And then he begins to play. It's a song I knew well, though maybe I should say this is a snippet of a song I know well. This is Sakura Panic, one of Ryo's originals. It's one of the tracks we're planning to play, and by we, I mean the Unappreciated Egoists. That's the name of our band, at the school culture festival. We have a pretty slim track list comprised of only 5 songs, 3 originals and 2 covers. One of our cover songs is Hitoni Yasashiku by the Blue Hearts. Hey, don't look at me like that. I know they're an older band, but I still like them. And the other's an instrumental of Dig Up Her Bones by Misfits. None of us are confident enough in our English to even attempt the vocals. We've got our set list all planned out, and we've spent the last few weeks working on getting these songs down. We've just been painting by the numbers, really, sticking to the same old, but Akira's not content to leave well enough alone. But he keeps fiddling with our songs for whatever reason, improvising an arpeggio, run here, and extra riff there. I'm not sure why he can't play the songs the way he's supposed to, without all of these little flourishes. But I've got to admit, he's doing a pretty good job at it. Give me a sec. Okay. Get back to the oops. It'd be easier if he just played what he was supposed to, but this does sound better. There's way more texture. It's crunchier, I guess. There's more to chew on, and he hasn't changed things up all that much either. He only changed the song up a little bit, but it sounds significantly better. What a show-off. The last few notes of his guitar riff fade away, his fingers stilling on the strings. Akira looks at me anxiously. For a guy, he sure does have big eyes. They're so wide and brown, like a fawn's, as he says. So, how was that? I think my opinion should go without saying, really. Akira's playing was good, but I'd expect nothing less of him. He's always been the best musician in the Unappreciated Egoists. The other guys mostly see the band as a laugh, as if that wasn't immediately obvious from the name. I think Ryo just picked that name on a whim because he thought it was funny, though Ryo's sense of humor has always been a little screwy. He's dry and sarcastic, and in some ways, he kind of reminds me of my grandfather. Okay. Interesting comparison. Ryo might be 18, just like I am, but he acts so perpetually fed up you'd think he has the soul of a much older man. He's pretty grumpy, and his sense of humor is kind of mean-spirited. I've always thought our band's name was meant to be a dig at us, because we're nobodies. Hell, he might as well have called us the Nobodies to make it extra explicit. But I'm getting off topic. I do that a lot, even in my flashbacks apparently. My bad. The point is, our band is really just some glorified after-school thing. There's only 5 members in our band: a drummer, that's me, a bassist, that's Ryo, a keyboardist, that's Kei, and 2 guitarists, one of them being Akira, the other Taiki. We're just 5 guys who fuck around after school. It's not like any of us have any dreams of being signed onto a big record company and going pro. Ryo's pretty smart, even if he acts bored and disinterested most of the time, and he'll be going off to medical school once we graduate. Ooh. The rest of us don't have future career prospects as bright as Ryo's. There's no hope in hell I'll ever get into med school. My grades are nowhere near good enough, but we all have plans of our own. Kei's planning to go to vocational school, and I've already been accepted to some middle-of-the-road uni in Sapporo. Once high school finishes, the unappreciated egoist will be no more. Our band is doomed to remain unappreciated like the name suggests, because we're going to fold soon enough. With all that in mind, what's the point in trying hard? We're just killing time, so we might as well enjoy ourselves. I just want to put on a show at the school culture festival that's good enough, so I don't make a complete idiot out of myself. But Akira can't leave well enough alone. He keeps practicing, even though he's way better than the rest of us already. He's so much better than the rest of us, in fact. It makes me feel kind of sick. Why does he put so much energy into our stupid band? Part of me wishes I felt even halfway as passionate about the band as he does, but I can't lie to myself that I really want this. For me, the unappreciated egoist is just a fun distraction from my daily life, but for Akira... is everything alright, Haruto? It didn't sound bad, did it? Fuck. I'll be damned if I know what the band is to him, and I don't know if I care. We're just about close enough that I can call him by his given name, instead of the more distant Usui, but we're not BFFs. I don't care why he works so hard in his picking and his bending and whatever the hell else he's been brushing up on, but I wish he wouldn't bother. Doesn't he know that it makes the rest of us look bad? It'd be fine if we were all... Oh, whoops. Try that again. It'd be fine if we were all on about the same general level of okayness, but Akira's putting in way too much work here. I'm tempted to smack him upside the head. Dude, why? What's wrong with you? This guy's such a negative Nathan. But I don't want to get emotionally involved in all of this. I don't really care about our playing. So I guess it's easiest to brush Akira's inquiries off with a shrug and a... Sorry, man. I guess I was Wow, let me start that over again. Sorry, man. I guess I was spacing out for a sec there. What you did sounded just fine, though. Did it really? I changed it up a little, so now the tone's a little more moody. And I used some... Ooh, this must be a music term. Aeolian, I think I might be saying that wrong. Aeolian chord progression in this part, so I could... Oh boy, and on he goes, blah blah blah. I know a little about music theory myself, but I'm mostly self-taught. A lot of this terminology is flying over my head, and damn, does he need to be this specific? Alright, Van Halen, hold up. I get you care a lot about your performance, which is admirable, I guess. But I don't know why you're worrying so much. We're just gonna be performing at the school cultural festival. We'll be in the gym, and we'll be playing in front of the same classmates we see every single day. Do you think any of them know what an Aeolian chord progression is? Oh my god, excuse me. Well, no, but... Well then, there you go. You don't gotta get into the weeds so much. So long as you don't screw up too badly on stage, everything will be fine. Do you really think so? Sure. Most people won't even be able to tell if you make any mistakes if you power through it. You've just gotta fake it until you make it. But you're like way past that stage already. Compared to me and Ryo and the others, you've already made it. You're a good guitar player, so stop fussing. Just play the solo like you're supposed to and it'll be fine. That's what my mother told me too. She said I was thinking about this too much, just like you, but this is all very new to me. I've never performed in front of an audience before, so I'm a little uneasy, I guess. It's a bit scary, actually. Well, there is that. The other members of the Unappreciated Egoists have played a handful of times before, at last year's Culture Fest, and at this small local club that Taiki's aunt runs, but Akira's a new addition to our group. He only joined the school at the start of the school year, and he's been a member of Unappreciated Egoists for all of 3 months. I guess he's being thrown into the deep end, so to speak, but oh, come on, bro. You don't need to be scared, not with your skill level. You'll crush it. Crush? I mean, it'll be fine. You're already way better than our last lead guitarist, Toru, but don't let him know I said that. I approach Akira, then drop my voice to a conspiratorial whisper. He'd be real sad if he knew I just said that. Like he isn't sad about Akira all but usurping his position already. Toru quit the light music club at the end of last year because he fucked up his hand playing basketball, and Akira wound up joining the club and taking his spot at the start of this year. I think Toru's a little sore about it, but he's always been more into basketball than he has the guitar. His playing was sloppy, and he was always making mistakes. Akira's far, far better than he ever was. And he's a good deal better than Taiki, too. Come to think of it, maybe that's why Taiki's been helping his parents out at their store more lately, instead of hanging out behind to practice. Maybe he doesn't want to be shown up by Akira. That might sound kinda petty, but if that is the case, I get it. I wouldn't want to be shown up by Akira either. Right. Akira flushes. I guess he's the type who's weak against compliments, and glances to one side. I'm very glad you think so. Though, I never tell Toru that, of course. I wouldn't want to upset him. I'd rather not make any enemies, especially when all the current members of the music club have been so nice. You've all been looking out for me in your own ways. Is he including Ryo in that assessment? If so, I'm tempted to call BS on that. I don't think Ryo knows how to look out for anyone. He doesn't even like cats. Sometimes it's enough to make me wonder if the guy's a legit sociopath. Oh my god. Okay. Which is why I want to make sure my performance is the best it can be. I don't want to show anybody up. Not when you've all been at this for so long. I think that really would be whoops. I think that would... Okay, let's try again. I think that really would be inexcusable. Brother, man, I always knew this guy was stiff, but he's acting way too deferential here. I like to tell Akira to stop being such a wuss, but I don't know if that'd help any. He looks legit anxious, fiddling with the sleeves of his jacket like that, so much so I feel compelled to help him. I know I said I didn't want to get involved, and that still holds true, but... Hey, Akira, you said you've never performed on stage before? Akira shakes his head. Alrighty then, it seems like you're less concerned about your technical skills, which are solid by the way, and more about making a mistake when you're up on stage. So, I'll just need to give you some immersive training. They say the best way to get over your fears is to face them head on, so why don't you come with me? I think I know how to help. What? Aruto? Hey, wait! I'm not waiting. You're the one who asked me for help, remember? You wanted my advice, so you're damn well gonna get it. Unless you want to waste my time. No, of course I don't. I'm sure you're a very busy person. I don't want to get in the way. I was just hoping... I don't care what you were hoping. If you want to learn how to play in front of other people, you've got to get used to it. So come here, pretty boy, and let's start training you up. I incline my head in the direction of the doorway, while Akira swallows, looking all pitiful. There's a small pause, a moment where Akira looks at me uneasily, and then... Alright, I'm coming. That's what she said, I think, with a small smirk, when Akira doesn't see mercifully, since I've already spun about on my heels. Okay. I exit the club room where Akira was practicing and step out into the hallway. The day is getting on, and the sky beyond the glass windows is a reddish yellow color. The sun is slowly sinking in the sky. The sky looks a little bit like orange juice, while the clouds which drift around it remind me of ice cubes. Akira and I stayed behind after school for a good hour and a half after classes let out, and the hallways more or less empty. A couple of students pass us by in PE uniforms. Let me take another sip of water. Oh my gosh. Okay. There we go. I think they might be members of the track team, and it looks like the library is still open, but the school's more or less deserted. It isn't creepy though, not like quiet schools are in horror movies. There's just enough people left to lend the school a cozy sort of a feeling. Maybe it's because of the orange sky, which filters in through the windows? In any case, I've gotta hurry. The school's gonna close in another hour, and I still haven't given Akira a proper pep talk. I'll be damned if I'm going to let him fuck up our performance at the school culture festival because of his nerves. Not that I really care about the school culture festival or anything. I just don't want him making too many stupid mistakes. Excuse me. I need Akira to get over how stupidly self-conscious he is, which is why I lead him through the quiet corridors, all the way up to... Oh my god, I'm so burpy. Excuse me. Jeez. I mean, I would be nervous too. I think I've only performed on a stage like once, and that was like in 3rd or 4th grade for the school talent show. So I can't imagine being like a school-centric band and performing in front of your fellow peers. That's really nerve-wracking. Oh, are we allowed to come up here? It's fine. I have a key, see? I hold a key up in my right hand, a silvery thing which winks in the sunlight. Oh, on the rooftop. I use the key to unlock the door, well duh, which leads onto the school roof, then step outside. Students aren't supposed to come up onto the school roof, but some of us have special privileges, including yours truly. Akira must be wondering about that because he looks at me curiously and says, "Why do you have that?" Oh, it wasn't too hard to get my hands on it. I just had to go on a date with the headmistress. Do you know she has a thing for younger guys? Oh, jeez. Huh? I'm teasing, of course. I mean, isn't it obvious? But Akira is so pure it looks like he's taking this at face value. Is that really alright, though? I mean, there's young, and then there's young. And she's a teacher. Here, Akira's voice drops to a scandalized whisper, even though there's nobody on the roof to overhear us. He blinks, looking all abashed, as he mumbles, "Isn't that illegal? She could get fired for that, or thrown in prison. There's no way that's allowed. It seems... Ouch!" Akira doesn't get a chance to tell me what it seems, however, because I deliver a swift flick of his forehead. Deliver a swift flick to his forehead, one that makes him reel. What was that for? It was to make you calm down, duh. Now listen, of course I'm not carrying on some sordid relationship with the headmistress. She's like 60, and she's already married. I think she has grandchildren that are our age, and I do have some self-respect. Even if she didn't make a move on me, I wouldn't exactly reciprocate. Then why did you say that you did? Why not? I wanted to see how you'd react. It was priceless, like I imagined. Then you were teasing me? Well done. Do you want an award for your amazing powers of observation? Now, look here. I'm not dating the headmistress. or anybody for that matter. My love life's about as dry as the Sahara Desert. I was given a key in case I ever wanted to practice the drums on the roof, you know, 'cause they're so loud and the music club room isn't exactly soundproof. Oh, that does make sense, I guess, but I've never seen you come up here before. Well, yeah, hauling my drum kit around's a pain. I don't do it all that often, and it snows so much in the winter it's not really worth it. Still, I figured you might as well play up here. We have the space, so why not? Now, look here. I know you have the lowest self-esteem known to man, and I know you're afraid of playing on stage. That's pretty obvious. But I figured I could help you get used... Wait, what the heck? But I figured I could help you get used to it if you played somewhere a little more open. Oh gosh, excuse me. Alrighty. Feel a little better. If there wasn't a volleyball match on right now, I would have gone to the gym. But since we can't do that, you'll just have to pretend that this roof is your stage, and your adoring fans are all over there. Do you think this will help you relax? Akira frowns, then glances across the rooftop, a vast, smooth expanse of concrete, where students are rarely allowed to go. I can see a few birds superimposed against the sun, black arches which look like hastily drawn cartoon scribbles. Our school is located on a hill, and in the distance, past the roofs of the buildings, I can see the mountains, rough and craggy, all tinged with red-yellow light. I press a hand to my neck, massaging it, while Akira continues to stand there. He blinks and says, "It might help, actually. If nothing else, it should make a nice change of pace from playing in the club room. Though, I was wondering about something, actually." "What sort of something?" "Well, I don't know if you'd be interested. Try me." Right. I guess I won't know until I ask." Akira swallows, then glances at me shyly. "I don't want to impose, but since we came all the way up here, I've been practicing our set list for the Culture Festival show. Let me try that again. I've been practicing our set list for the Culture... Oh my gosh. I've been practicing our set list for the Culture Festival show during these last couple of weeks, but that's not everything I've been doing. I've actually been composing a song on my own." "Oh yeah?" Yeah, the idea just came to me, I guess, before I was about to go to sleep. I like the melody, so I figured I'd scribble it down, but I didn't intend to do anything with it. It was just a bit of fun, I guess. I didn't think it'd be anything serious, especially when I was still practicing for the Culture Festival. But I had a few more ideas, and I got kind of into it, so I started to noodle away at the song in my spare time. And before I knew it, I more or less finished it. I still haven't gotten the ending down, and some of the transitions are kind of rough, but I thought it'd be nice to share it with somebody. And you wanted to share it with me? If you wouldn't mind hearing it. I don't want to be a bother, but I've composed a few songs before, and this is the first one I've really liked. I wound up scrapping the others since they sound too derivative. I think I took a bit too much inspiration from Miyavi, but this one stood out to me. I think it sounds nice, if that doesn't sound too big-headed. I was thinking it might be nice to play it during the Culture Festival too, if we have a spare couple of minutes, but I'd really like to hear your opinion first. For all I know, it'd be utterly terrible, and I've just convinced myself it's decent. I've been fiddling around with the composition for a while, so I can't really tell. I need a pair of fresh ears, if you don't mind. So Akira wants me to be his audience, does he? This is nothing new. He's always asking for my... No. He's always asking for my opinion, but he's never asked me to listen to an original composition of his before. He likes to put his own spin on his... He likes to put his own spin on existing songs, like he did with Sakura Panic earlier, but he's always modifying somebody else's work. Ryo's in the case of Sakura Panic. I didn't know Akira composed his own songs, though maybe I should have. He seems like the sort who would. I'm actually impressed he was able to work up the courage to ask me to take a listen to, and potentially tear into something he wrote himself, but... You said you wanted to play this at the culture festival? If there's enough time, and if it's good enough, of course. I don't really know if Ryo would be alright with it. I think it might be a bit too sentimental. Well, I wonder. I dunno. I can't make any final decisions. I'm not the leader of the band. But it's probably too late to change our plans. I mean, we only have a week left until the show. It all seems a bit last minute, and you know how Ryo gets when it comes to planning shit. Oh, right. Of course. Akira laughs awkwardly, in this very Akira way, so mild-mannered and self-conscious, it kind of makes me want to deck him. Isn't he supposed to be a guy? Why is he so shy? Hell, he's way taller than I am. You'd think he'd be more confident, but I guess not. He's nothing like Kei and Taiki, and he's definitely not like Ryo. He's not quite like any other guy I've met before, but I still want to look out for him. I wonder why that is. I'm sure my little sister would snicker at my ignorance and direct me to some of the seedy boys love drama CDs she likes so much. If I want any help answering that question, but that's not an avenue I'm prepared to go down. It's not like this is a gay thing. I just want to support Akira if I can, cause he's more talented than he gives himself credit for. He's a gifted musician, but he can't seem to see that. Why is it always the most hardworking people who are the most blind when it comes to recognizing their own abilities? It's actually really irritating. Well, you're right about that. I wouldn't want to I wouldn't want to ruin Ryo's plans, especially when we've been practicing that Blue Hearts cover. But I'd still like to play this song for you, just to see what you think. It's fine if we can't play it at the Culture Festival. It probably isn't ready for that, to be honest. It's still a rough draft, like I said, but I would like some feedback. Would you mind? Sure. Knock yourself out, but not literally, of course. I am kind of interested to see what you've been cooking up. Right. Thank you, Haruto. Excuse me. Let me mute for a few seconds. Okay. That's a little better. Well, this song doesn't have a name yet. Like I care about that. The name's the last thing I fuss about when it comes to music. Trust Akira to worry about something girly like that. Hey man, no. Dude, that's not cool. I think anybody can worry about naming their creations, especially when it comes to songs, because that's such a very personal thing, I believe, for musicians and artists. Man, this guy needs to get his head out of the ostrich hole. But I hope you enjoy it. Akira doesn't say this as a statement, of course. I can hear the question mark working its way into his words, spoiling whatever dignity he might have had. His shoulders look stiff, like he's about to march off into a battle, and geez, why is he shaking so much? That's not gonna do him any favors when he starts playing. Oh, excuse me. He's messed up already, before he's even pressed his fingertips against the frets. That's what I think, at least. But when Akira starts playing his nameless song... Ooh. Oh, this is really beautiful. His work in progress. All of my pessimistic thoughts are soon silenced. Akira's song is, well, it's soft and gentle, and it's more melancholy than I expected. There's a real pathos to this song as his fingers find the well-thumbed strings of his guitar. It's a deceptively simple song. The chord progressions aren't anything special, and the finger work doesn't seem too fancy, but though the BPM is a bit on the slower side, it's not really a rock song. It feels more like a ballad. There's something haunting about it, almost ethereal. It's beautiful. Yeah, I guess that's the... Whoops. Yeah, I guess that's the best way to describe it. His song really is breathtaking, and coming from me, that's saying something. I'm not a sentimental guy myself. In fact, I'm the opposite of sentimental. Kohane's always telling me I should be more tactful, that I need to get a clue, like that's something you can pick up from the convenience store alongside a copy of Weekly Shonen Jump. I'm pretty matter of fact, and I don't mince my words. I speak pretty bluntly, and I don't really care about sparing other people's feelings. He's like one of those guys that's like, I'm just being honest. That's just my opinion kind of guy. Ugh. Those people really, really get on my nerves. I don't cry when I watch movies or when I listen to especially sad songs. I might have gotten a bit sniffly once when I saw a seal being maimed in some documentary, but that's about it. I listen to a lot of music from all sorts of bands, Japanese, Chinese, American, British, you name it. But Akira's song, there's something haunting about it. What compelled Akira to compose this? What was he trying to express? I couldn't say. But despite Akira's obvious discomfort about playing an unfinished piece, it's undeniably effective. I find myself drawn into the song further and further until... all of a sudden the song stops. The last note doesn't fade away gracefully into the cool... The last note doesn't fade away gracefully into the cool, crisp air. It comes to a halt too quickly, so I'm forcefully thrown out of the evocative world Akira was able to craft with his delicate playing. I feel disoriented even as Akira says, "What did you think?" What am I meant to say to that? If I were in some seedy dive bar, I'd be shouting and demanding an encore. And if we were in an opera house, I'd be up on my feet in anticipation of a standing ovation. That's how good Akira's playing was. It was a moving piece, so why is he coming... It was a moving piece, so why is he coming over... Why is he coming over all meek? I know he has all the self-worth of a sea sponge, but geez, learn to read the room. Or, the roof. Oh, for fuck's sake. I take a step towards Akira. He flinches, clutching his guitar like it's his baby. Then say, "Are you being serious right now?" Well, I'm not joking. Why? Do you think I was? Man, this guy. Why does he have to be so painfully earnest? Actually, maybe that's why I'm so soft on him. He kind of reminds me of that unfortunate seal. No, oh my god, the seal again. Actually, maybe that's why I'm so soft on him. He kind of reminds me of that unfortunate seal I saw in that nature documentary ages ago. The one which made me feel all sniffly. No, I think you're being serious, but that pisses me off even more. Why do you always need to ask me how good you are? You should know the answer already, unless you just want to make me praise you. I'm sorry. I really don't know what you mean, though. Did I do something wrong? No, you idiot. You didn't do anything wrong. In fact, it's the exact opposite. You played so perfectly, it's almost criminal. You're way too good at the guitar. Are you sure you aren't, like, descended from Jimi Hendrix? I mean, what the hell? Huh? Do you really mean that? Yeah, I mean that, but don't make me repeat it. You don't want me to keep kissing your ass, do you? Of course not. That's the last thing I want. Well, stop being such a weirdo then. I don't think you're fishing for compliments. I know you're not calculating enough for that. But there's such a thing as being too humble, you know? Excuse me. Oh my god. Song's great. I liked it a lot. If you play for Ryo, I bet he'll love it too. Do you think so? Well, as much as Ryo can love anything, I know he can be a bit of a dick, but he does have a heart. At least, I think he does. He might not like cats or small children, but he can tolerate Nanami, so he can't be all bad. If you play that song for him, just like you did for me, I'm sure he'll let you add it into our program somewhere. Really? Yes, really. I'm not just saying these things, you know. Don't look so... I don't know. Grateful. I'm not trying to be nice. I'm just telling the truth. If your song sucks shit, I'd tell you that too, but it didn't. Worst luck. I know this sounds mean, but part of me, a petty, vindictive part, almost wishes his song did sound bad, so I wouldn't have to praise him so effusively. It's pretty embarrassing, but I don't think Ryo will have an issue with it, even if he can be kinda precious when it comes to preparing shit. Your song's better than any cover, though. I think it'll go down well, even if I happen to like the Blue Hearts. And if nothing else, I'm sure the oh my gosh. And if nothing else, I'm sure the girls will all love you. Oh my gosh, I need to do that again. And if nothing else, I'm sure the girls will all love you. The girls. Akira blinks at me from behind his thick glasses, wide-eyed, as though I just said something outlandish. Something like, the man-eating predators will all love you. Though, knowing some of the girls at this school, that might not be too far from the truth. None of our female classmates are evil aliens. Well, not to my knowledge. I don't really understand half of the stuff that Nanami and her gang come out with, though, but they can be kind of tough to deal with. Akira smiles vaguely, a shy, awkward smile as he says, I'm not sure about that. I don't know if there's anything all that interesting about me. I doubt the girls at the school would care. Well, that's where you'd be wrong. I don't see the appeal myself, but you have this kind of sad, kicked puppy look to you a lot of girls seem to be into. For some inexplicable reason. And doesn't Nanami like you? Nanami? You know, Ryo's friend. The one who always rolls her skirt up? The flashy girl. Maybe she does? If I'm being honest, I've not been paying all that much attention to, any girls. I've been too busy practicing. I want to keep getting better, so... So you're gonna ignore every single girl who looks at you? Oh well, that's your loss. I can't say I get it myself. Though maybe I kind of can, in Nanami's case. I don't know if she'd make good girlfriend material. She's so aggressive. My mother says I'd probably do well marrying an aggressive woman, so she can whip me into shape. I can get kind of lost, I guess, on my own. In my own world, I mean. Well, I can see that. But I think it's important that I keep practicing. I don't want to let you down. And then, after the culture festival, I want to tell you something. It's important. Why after the festival specifically? Well, sorry, but it's a secret. Please, if you say it like that, it's only gonna make me even more interested. What's so very important you're going to make a huge production out of it, but you can't do it until after the culture festival? Wait, don't tell me. This isn't gonna be some sappy TV drama, is it? You aren't dying of cancer, are you? Wait, that might have been too loud on the mic, sorry. It's a bit of a long shot, to be honest. I'm just pulling some bullshit plotline from one of my sister's favorite TV shows. But I don't expect to hit the mark. In fact, I'm actually hoping I'm mistaken. I'd feel awful if it turned out that was the truth, so I'm relieved when Akira yelps, "What? No, of course not. I'm fine." Why would you assume something so morbid? I don't look sick, do I? You are a bit peaky, yeah? You're so pale, in fact, you look like you never go outside. Are you sure you're not anemic? My mother asks me that sometimes too, though my doctor said I was just fine during my last checkup. I think I'm just a pale person. But no. Excuse me. Oh my god. I should probably save. There we go. All the world's a stage. Ooh. But no. This thing I want to tell you about isn't that serious. It's more... He pauses. Then he sighs. I have a lot going on, I guess. Getting ready for the culture festival. I've been worrying about it. It's the first time I've ever performed in front of anybody else. So I don't want to risk making things awkward. I'd rather do a good job at our performance than speak to you about this later. I don't want it hanging over me. If that's alright? Huh. Personally, I find this all kind of weird. Wouldn't this unspoken important thing hang over Akira even more the longer he refuses to spill the beans? But sure, it's your life. You've got to do what you think is best for you, and you have to look after yourself too. You need to be in good shape if our concert's going to succeed. You're the best asset we have. Do you really think so? Duh. Everybody knows you're the best member of our band. You're way more dedicated than that womanizer Kay, and you put in more practice than the rest of us put together. We'll be counting on you. Don't screw up. Otherwise, you'll never get to tell me whatever it is you want to say. Right. I'll do my best. I can still remember the way Akira said that, the way his brown eyes lit up, just like a puppy's. He really did look cute back then, with his curly hair and his earnest enthusiasm. I'd only just started to think I might have been into guys, and I think his bright smile caught me off guard. It was enough to make me feel a little fluttery. But that was years and years ago. At this point, it's practically ancient history. Oh, flashback over? Jeez, what am I doing? Rigging up all of this shit now. It's not like I can do anything about it. I never did get to hear what Akira wanted to say to me after the school culture festival. And now, 8 years have passed. I doubt I ever will. It's pointless to even dwell on it, but... I still find myself sighing. I was watching the official music video for Eternal Autumn, but it's since shifted away to some DVD rip-off of a concert Obscure held a couple of years ago. I think it's part of their barbed wire and stainless steel tour? Anyway, this rip is high quality. There's a few sweeping shots of the concert hall, which is a pretty big venue. It looks like it can seat around 5,000 people, and a lot of close-ups of Akira too. I watch Akira, my brow furrowed, as he sings his way through an Obscure classic, one of my favorites. This is From 0 to 1, one of their darker, grittier songs. Akira's singing it with real passion, his eyes narrowed, face screwed up as though he's in real pain. His piercings glint in his ears beneath the harsh... Let me try that again. His piercings glint in his ears beneath the harsh stage lighting, and his eyes are dark with makeup. He should, by all rights, look ridiculous, wearing his distressed fishnets, his eyeshadow dripping down his face like faux tears. But, irritatingly enough, it's the exact opposite. Somehow he manages to make the whole living corpse thing look appealing. Was Akira always this handsome? I guess he was a reasonably good-looking guy even back in high school, but I think his anxiety ruined his looks a little. He was always walking around with his shoulders slumped, his eyes to the ground, as though he was afraid of making eye contact with anybody. Which, knowing how Akira used to be, he probably was. I think Akira had a few fans even back then. I do remember at least one girl from our class gave him chocolates on Valentine's Day, but he didn't stand out in a huge way. Akira might have been handsome, but he was always too shy and self-conscious to capitalize on it. The Akira I see on stage, however, looks nothing like the Akira I remember. He looks out at this large audience before him without flinching. Excuse me. keep accidentally dripping some tea on me by accident, but how fast I'm sipping it. Alrighty, let's get back to this. He sings his heart out, his voice rubbed raw from the sheer intensity of his emotions, and as he sings, he manipulates his guitar with such dexterity it's enough to take my breath away. I used to joke back in school that he fancied himself as the next Hendrix, but these jokes don't seem quite so jokey anymore. Akira was talented even back in school, but he's proved in leaps and bounds. Is it any wonder that Obscura became so popular? Maybe it was only a matter of time. Now, nobody can deny Akira's raw talent. He's beloved all across Japan, his technical abilities and his appearance praised and envied by thousands, hundreds of thousands across the country. He's come a long way. And I, meanwhile, am stuck here in this small, dreary corner of the world, where it always seems to snow, watching him as I curl up in bed. The snow outside continues to howl, the sound sad and mournful, and I sigh. I feel pretty darn sad and mournful myself, all things considered. I wish I could be happy for Akira and his success, and I guess a small sliver of me is. But more than anything, I can't help but feel bitter. I know Akira worked hard for this, and I never say he doesn't deserve it, but I can't help but wonder whether he'd be on that stage at all if it wasn't for me. If I hadn't taken him onto the school roof all of those years ago, and if I had not complimented him on his performance, would he have found the strength to keep on going? Does Akira still remember that day? And does he ever think about me? I think he thinks a lot about you, dude. More than you know. I feel a little groggy when I wake up the following morning and pretty out of it. I wound up staying up way too late, watching obscure videos until the early hours of the morning. But can you really blame me? I mean, yes, I suppose you can blame me for that, and quite easily too. I know I might not always sound like it. I can be pretty whiny sometimes, but I am a fully grown adult, have a job and everything, and I even pay taxes. Nobody's in charge of my life except me. I'm the one who sets my own bedtime, which means it's nobody's responsibility but mine to go to sleep at a sensible hour. I really shouldn't have wasted so much time last night watching old obscure music videos and performances and, worst of all, interviews. But I couldn't stop myself. I must have been bitten by the obscure bug, or maybe you could say I fell down the obscure rabbit hole, because I wound up watching a whole load of YouTube videos, one after the other, until gone 4 in the morning. It's a good thing today's a Sunday, so I don't have to work. I wake up late just after 11, and I feel exhausted. I lie in bed for a while, curled up on my side, contemplating my poor life choices. Before, with a theatrical groan, I force myself to get up. Might as well have a shower. I usually shower before I go to bed, but I guess I forgot yesterday, since I was so obscure-brained. I feel vaguely disgusting, and I stink of stale sheets. I'm decently hungry, too, since I neglected to eat any dinner last night. I wonder if I have anything nice for breakfast. I think I should have some bread at least, but I don't know if I want toast today. That doesn't feel filling enough. I'm not exactly the best cook out there, but I'm not completely incompetent. I can probably stick some rice in the cooker, and I should be able to make miso soup. I get ready to face the day. Not that I have any plans, and in an hour later, I start to eat a very late breakfast. While I eat, I wind up on my phone, and like last night, I wind up searching for obscure. Now, I'm slightly more awake. My thoughts turn to that billboard I saw yesterday, the one advertising that upcoming obscure concert in the Kyobun on Christmas Eve. I wonder if I can find any more info on it. Let's see, how expensive are these tickets anyway? I commence a quick Google search, plunging myself even deeper in the rabbit hole, and then, damn. Give me a sec. Okay. here. Turn. These tickets are pretty freaking expensive, though of course I knew they would be. We are talking about Obscure here, and I did leave it pretty late to start looking into buying tickets. The concert's in a fortnight, which is cutting it real close. When it comes to more well-established bands, it's best to try and snag tickets as soon as possible. There aren't any tickets left for this show on any reputable sites. I can only find scalpers reselling tickets bought in bulk for 3, sometimes 4 or 5 times what they're actually worth. Oh man, this is way too real. The prices of these tickets fluctuate pretty wildly, starting from around 50,000 yen to an absolutely eye-watering 250,000 yen. And no, I am not joking. What the hell, man? I knew Obscure was popular, but I didn't know they were this popular. Sapporo's Kyobun isn't even a huge venture, for fuck's sake. I've been there once before, and I think it can seat maybe 2,000 people? I'm not sure. Maybe that's why these tickets are so scarce and expensive alongside it. I guess there aren't all that many on the market. There's no way I can shell out for one of these tickets, not even a ticket on the cheaper end. I don't think I have 50,000 yen knocking around in my bank account right now. Though I probably shouldn't dwell on that. It'll make me feel depressed. It's a shame, but I guess I'll have to give up on my idle fantasy of seeing Obscure. What would be the point in going to the concert anyway? I haven't seen Akira in years, and I doubt he'll be able to spy me from all the way up on the stage. Life isn't a romance manga, or a boys' love drama CD for that matter. These chance encounters years later between two estranged high school sweethearts don't just happen. The world doesn't work like that. That's what I tell myself, at least. Aww. He doesn't know he's in a video game. But as luck would have it, I still managed to snag my grubby mitts on a ticket for Obscure's upcoming gig. I wind up visiting my parents the weekend before Obscure's concert, which means, as a matter of course, I see my little sister Kohane. Kohane is 4 years younger than I am, and she's just finished up at university. She's been living with our folks since graduating while she hunts for a job, which seems to suit her just fine. Kohane's always gone along with our parents better than I have, maybe because she's a huge baseball fan like my parents, so they always go to games together. It's kind of funny Kohane loves baseball so much, when her other hobbies are so typically girly. Mostly she likes steamy romance stories between pretty boys, but hey, it's good to have a lot of interests, I guess. Personally, I couldn't care less about baseball, so I've never bothered tagging along on these outings. I used to use my family's absence as an excuse to practice the drums, without being yelled at to shut up. Which is probably another reason why my parents always preferred Kohane over me. Her hobby of drawing pretty boys in compromising positions is much quieter than mine. Not that you'd think that to see how many exclamation marks she uses on social media. In any case, it seems like the goddess of good fortune is on my side. The conversation over lunch turns to Obscure. Kohane's a big fan, though her favorite is Caleb, and Kohane let slip that she was able to snag a ticket for their Sapporo concert a couple of months earlier. I've been looking... what kind of wish should I give her? I've been looking forward to it too. I really wanted Caleb to sign my copy of Polychromia. But Mitsuo wanted us to go out on a romantic getaway for Christmas Eve, and he already booked reservations at this fancy ryokan to celebrate. Can you believe it? Kohane rumps, as though it's Mitsuo's, he's her boyfriend by the by, fault the concert happens to overlap with Christmas Eve. I asked my sister, not unreasonably I think, why she didn't tell Mitsuo she already had plans when he asked her about this romantic getaway, and she pouts. It slipped my mind. I mean, I booked these tickets 3 months ago. I thought the concert was the weekend before Christmas Eve, so I gave Mitsuo the all clear. Our trip's been booked for a while already, and we already paid the deposit. It's non-refundable too, so we can't cancel it now. I'm not about to stand my own boyfriend up, not when it's Christmas Eve. But this is terrible timing. I wanted to see Caleb. You know, it's in pretty bad form to lust after the members of Obscure when you're quite literally dating another guy. Won't that make Mitsuo feel self-conscious? Oh, please, don't give me that. Caleb might be handsome, but I don't like him like that. To me, he's at his most appealing when he's being shipped with Akira. Shipped with? My mother chimes in, looking politely confused. What does that mean exactly? Oh, hasn't Kohane told you? It's funny, really, since it's one of her favorite hobbies. Shipping is not another word. Oof! And so, in the end, I'm unable to enlighten my parents on the sacred art of shipping, thanks to Kohane driving the sole of her shoe into my foot under the table. Thanks, Thanks, Kohane. Thanks a lot. She might be the favorite child of the family, but I guess there are some things she hasn't been able to tell Mom and Dad. Now, I wonder how a conversation like that will. Boy, would I like to be a fly on the wall during that. In any case, I mentioned I've been looking into tickets for Obscure Sapporo show myself. I've gotten kind of interested in them. I've gotten kind of interested in them lately, I say, and Kohane soon takes the bait. Oh, that's funny. I didn't pay you as an Obscure fan. I figured you'd hate them, Haruto, 'cause they're all pretty boys. I thought you liked music which was a little grungier, with those ugly, hairy American men. Dang! I don't know what band Kohane is talking about, but I think she's doing Iron Maiden a disservice. They aren't ugly and hairy, for one thing, and for another, they're not even American. But if you want to see him that badly, I guess I can throw you a bone. It'd be a shame to waste my ticket, and I don't want to resell it. That sounds like a huge hassle. I don't want to deal with any randos online trying to scam me. It's funny you should say that when all the tickets I've seen online were from scalpers. I'm the one who feels like I'm being scammed here. Oh, I know. It's awful, isn't it, seeing people overcharge for tickets like that? I guess I could try getting in on the action myself. But it'd be easier if you took the ticket, so I don't need to worry about posting on any shady websites. You don't have any plans next weekend, do you? Oh gee, I don't know. It might be hard to get time away from my harem of adoring girlfriends. It's tough being the massive babe magnet that I am. Pfft, in your dreams, Haru. But yeah, I think I might be able to swing it if you really don't mind. Of course not, I'm offering. Why don't you look at it as an early Christmas present? This way, I won't need to worry about buying you anything. It's win-win. Right. Thanks, Jeez. Thanks, Kohane. I love you too. And so, in the end, I'm able to secure a ticket for Obscure show just like that. To be honest, it all seems a little too convenient. I didn't think a chance like this would fall onto my lap so easily. But now the opportunity has arisen, I want to make the most of it. If my little sister is going out of her way to do something nice for me, something which happens once in a full moon, then I should accept it. They do say that you shouldn't look a gift horse in the mouth. Not that my sister looks remotely like a horse, her face isn't nearly long enough. I'm still not sure if this is the best idea, however, not even when Kohane emails me a ticket later. Naturally, it's digital. Everything in this world is. I think most of me rather, wants to see Obscure out of some lingering sense of regret. I can't help but feel like there's some unfinished business after the concert to tell him any of these things. I don't believe that seeing Obscure perform will change anything about our relationship. It can't undo 8 years of distance. I doubt it'll make us any closer. In fact, it might make Akira feel even further away from me, standing up on that stage with his glamorous bandmates, while girls like Kohane scream at him from the crowd. I shouldn't expect too much. It would be stupid to get my hopes up, and yet... I can't help but recall that afternoon on the school roof. Just Akira and I and the setting sun, slowly sinking in an orange sky which looked like fruit punch. I remember the strains of that song he played me, the original song which stirred my heart like nothing else. Back then, Akira always turned to me for advice. Out of all the members of the unappreciated egoists, I was the one that he turned to. I was the one he put his faith in, over and over again. I was the one he considered a friend. And I'm the one who betrayed him. He never was able to tell me what he wanted to say after the school culture festival. I never gave him a chance. I avoided him pretty steadfastly over that show. And the relationship, if we'd ever really had a relationship, fell apart, just like a sandcastle. He never told me what he wanted to say. And the days elapsing at such a rapid clip, they all start to blur into one another. Though we're in the run-up to Christmas, my day-to-day routine doesn't change in any noticeable way. I still have to go into the office. This isn't Europe, where people get days of paid time off during the winter holidays, and I'm still expected to work a 9 to 5. I have to endure Sasayama's crass course humor, which I've never found all that funny, and I have to take a bunch of phone calls about Obscure's upcoming concert. I'm able to distract myself well enough at work, since I have so much, work to do. My schedule hasn't slowed down at all. Now we're in Q4. If anything, it's gotten even worse, but it's harder at home. I find myself listening to Obscure's whole discography on repeat, from Grey Flowers for a Gloomy Girl up to Polychromia, wondering whether there are any secret meanings in their older tracks, wondering what Akira was trying to communicate. Did he want to communicate anything? But now, in the lead up to their gig, their songs feel significant in a way they haven't before. There's something plaintive in a lot of their lyrics, something melancholic. Akira doesn't compose all of their songs. Toa sometimes pitches in, but he does write all of Obscure's lyrics. Surely he was trying to say something with Obscure's vast discography. Eternal Autumn really does make me wonder. It sounds too much like that nameless song Akira played for me on the school rooftop for it to be a coincidence. But that doesn't signify that all of his songs are about me. Hell, it doesn't even signify that Eternal Autumn is about me, though I always have wondered about that song. It's very specific in its imagery. The school roof, the gray concrete, and the shadows stretched out like unfurling fingers. Oh my god, man! Oh jeez, of course it's about you too. But searching for references to myself amongst these older tracks seems almost hopelessly egotistical. Am I thinking about things too much? Wait, don't answer that. I'm sure the answer is yes. What a silly guy. The days pass me by. In any case, in a blur. My thoughts full of little else except Obscure and Usui Akira. I've tried to avoid Obscure for years, ever since I realized Akira was their frontman. But by the same token, I've started following them more closely than anybody else. Checking their socials is becoming second nature to me, so much so it's been ingrained into my daily routine. Early in the morning, after brushing my teeth, I always wind up looking at their official Instagram account, their Twitter, their website. I keep telling myself I didn't care about Obscure, and I especially don't care about Akira, but I've still been keeping tabs on them. Oh my god. He says he's not a fan, but he's so obsessed. Damn. When I put it like that, don't I sound like yourself? You said it yourself, man. Damn, when I put it like that, don't I sound like some sort of crazy person? Why do I always say one thing even to myself that do the exact opposite? Do I have some sort of mental condition? Okay. Whoa. I don't think that's it. I think you're just a rebellious, indecisive fellow. I'm sure if I asked my sister to diagnose me, she'd grin and say I'm just a tsundere, but she's not a qualified therapist. I don't think her opinion's worth more than the dirt that I walk on. The day of the concert inevitably arrives, despite my concerns, and with it I'm faced with a brand new worry, namely, what I should wear. I've never been one to worry about my appearance all that much. Clothes are just clothes at the end of the day, and they're little more than a means to an end. When you live in a place like Hokkaido, which gets so miserably cold during the winter, you can't afford to be too precious about how you look. Or at least, I'm not. I saw a few women when I went Christmas shopping early cleavage, but they're the exception rather than the norm. I mean, if they're not cold, you should mind your own business, man. And even then, at least these shorts-wearing psychopaths had leggings on. I'd rather not expose much of my own skin, though. If this was any other day, I'd be content to wear a hoodie and a pair of scuffed jeans and a coat, like I always do. But this isn't any other day. This is the day of Obscure's concert. I've seen a few live recordings of Obscure's gigs on YouTube, and the people in the audience tend to dress up a bit. Obscure's a pretty edgy band, at least they were. The success of Eternal Autumn might have softened their image a little. And their fans tend to wear all black, much like the band members. Excuse me. Your typical Obscure fan tends to have a lot of piercings, and maybe even a tattoo or two. They rock up at these concerts with their face to walk in. I don't have any platform boots myself, chunky or otherwise, and I don't own any makeup either, and even if I did, I wouldn't know how to apply it. I don't want to show up to the gig looking like I've been punched in the eyes repeatedly, which is probably what would happen if I tried to model my look on Akira's. I probably shouldn't fuss about my appearance too much. I don't have any clothes which are particularly cool, and yet I can't help but feel a little antsy, I guess, when I consider this is the first time my path will cross with Akira's in 8 years. I'd like to make some sort of impression, overwhelmingly stacked against me that... Oh my goodness. The odds are overwhelmingly stacked against me that I'll even see Akira. He'll be up, plebes. I'll bet the concert hall will be so packed Akira won't be able to see me, much less he's a real big shot in the music industry, and I wouldn't be surprised if attractive women keep throwing themselves at him. I don't know of Akira's type. Oh, he looks kind of sad in this bright. Oh, he's always been cagey about his ideal woman during interviews, floating around the net of Akira posing with pretty women in dark clothes. Women wearing mini skirts and laddered fishnets with their nails painted black. I don't think Akira's actually seeing any of these women, but I don't really know. Rumors keep surfacing on the net and in the news that Akira might be seeing various celebs, that he was spotted with Risa from the all-girl grunge band Oral Vampire, but these stories have never sounded all that credible. I don't think that Akira has a girlfriend, or a boyfriend, for that matter. You can bet if he was interested in people like that, full stop. He never seemed all that fussed about the prettier girls in our year, back when we were at school. Ryo's funny friend, Nanami, and her friend, Isuzu, and all the other popular girls whose names and faces I can't remember anymore. Kei would sometimes bring up girls when we were supposed to be practicing, despite having a girlfriend, but Akira never seemed all that interested. In fact, I think the topic of romance made him pretty awkward gay, but surely word of that would have spread since he's become so incredibly famous. He might be asexual. I did always think he loved his guitar more than he loved any other person. Dude! That's so rude. Oh my god, don't say that. I guess. I do wonder for a split second if I'd have any luck catching Akira's attention if I dressed up like some of his more adoring fangirls, complete with the fishnets and the miniskirt. But there's no way in hell I'd do something like that. I don't really have anything against guys wearing skirts. Ryo did it a couple of times during Halloween parties, and he kind of rocked it, but I don't want to do it myself. My calves are too thick for it, since I used to go cycle to and from school when I was younger. And anyway, it's -2 freaking degrees outside. Wearing a skirt in weather like this would be suicide. I'm not stupid, and besides, I don't own any skirts. I'd have to ask Kohane for a loan, and I doubt any of her clothes would fit me. She's quite a bit shorter than I am, and skinnier. In the end, unimaginable, a hoodie and scuffed denim trousers. Oh well, it's better than nothing. I throw my old natty coat on top, quicker than usual, though that's probably because I'm going at an uncommonly fast clip. I can't quite quell my excitement, rising to for the first time in my life. And I'm going to see Akira again. We're finally going to be reunited, in spirit at least. There really is no guarantee I'll actually be able to talk to him. I know I shouldn't get my hopes up, but my thoughts still wind up whirring on ahead of me. I catch a train which is going into Sapporo, then take a seat. It starts to snow while I'm sitting there, white effect. Let me take another sip of tea now that I don't have enough water. It's only 17:30, but the sky outside is already pitch black. There's a station, by which point the snow is really coming down. I don't really want to wander in the streets in this weather. not when my destination is a good 20 minutes away. So I wind up taking a bus, and it takes another 15 minutes. Kyoiku, is it Kyoiku or Kyoiku? Yeah, Kyoiku Bunka Kaiken, around waiting in line to be let in. I imagine most of Obscure's fans will have gotten here a good hour, maybe even 2, but fake Obscure fans behind. Well, that suits me just fine. The doors for the venue aren't closed just yet, so I should be able to get. I'd like to be stuck in a queue for over an hour in the cold, shivering into my coat while my fingers are at risk of falling off. I think I meaning to flash my ticket on my phone. Thank you, Kohane. But before I step inside, I decide I might as well take a photo of this place. It'll be nice to look back on, if anything else, and maybe Kohane would like to see some photos later. It was nice of her to give me the ticket, so I should try to take a few commemorative snapshots. Though whether she'll actually want to see them or not, but, well, I'm a pretty petty person, so maybe part of me wants to boast too. I take a quick photo of the venue, the internet, where it'll remain until the inevitable heat death of the universe. With my bragging completed, for the time being at least, I then pull up my ticket, which one of the guards examines. He scans it, then gives me a curt nod and ushers me inside. Whoa. I've been to the Kyobun before, even if this was a few years ago, and I mostly remember what the interior looks like. It's the same as always, a foyer with a cloakroom and a bar, and a hallway which leads into the main concert hall. I shrug out of my winter coat, leaving it, and the vibe then was very different to the current one. Back then, the venue was brightly lit, and most of the attendants were people my parents' age, well-dressed, middle-aged men in suits and women with their hair piled up on their heads, wearing fancy earrings. Oh gosh, I really need to go to the bathroom. Excuse me, I'll be back in a few minutes. It might have been a bathroom emergency, but everything was okay. Okay, let me continue. The clientele at this Mikado yields. The vast majority of people present in the concert hall are the vast majority makeup and a lot of piercings. The Kyobun's interior is a little like a theater with a lot of plush red chairs installed, but there aren't many people sitting down. Most people are on their feet, nursing drinks, staring at the stage amps. There's a smooth, flat screen TV at the back of the stage, several of them actually, which must have been wired up so people in the back of the venue can get a better view of, though these screens aren't turned on yet. It's another 5 minutes or so until Obscure are slated to get onto the stage, and the excitement in the air is palpable. I can hear people whispering as I slide into my designated seat, row K, seat 12, even listening to Obscure songs on their phones. I have to wonder why they're bothering, when we'll be seeing the real deal soon enough, but maybe they want to about who the hottest member of Obscure is. Not that I would do that even if I could, and I don't feel like looking them up on my phone right now. A little too on edge to feel properly content. This venue really is packed. It's not the biggest venue a band has ever played, I'm sure. It's better than playing in the gymnasium, at least, during the shitty school culture festival. Akira sure has gone up in the world. Man, this egoists and standing on stages just like this one, brightly lit with a crowd of adoring fans cheering for me. I don't know if I ever believed these fantasies of mine would ever come true. I've always been a realist, or, as Kohane says, a pessimist, but it was nice to imagine. When I was on the train on the way back from school, my bag resting on my lap. It was a soothing fantasy world I'd take refuge in, one where I could be the star of my very own show, a musician like I did. But part of me still wanted it. It did hurt when I gave up on these dreams, when I scrapped my old drum kit. In fact, I'm sure I didn't care enough, because if I had, I wouldn't have let this opportunity, no matter how small, slip through my fingers. I wouldn't have given up on everything. If only I'd done this, if only I'd done that. If only... Oh, it's time! What about Rosario? But I'm soon drawn out of my self-pitying musings by the murmurings of the crowd. These murmurs begin initially as... Yeah! It looks like the members of Obscure have finally made an appearance. 4 men appear on the darkened stage. The dashing blonde Caleb, the rakish, roguish Rosario, the unremarkable Toa, who nobody seems to cheer for. That's so sad. Akira! I love you! Look over here! You're the best! And once more, flooding the venue with light. Once again, the crowd screams in anticipation. And then... Hey there, my... I'll give him a different voice. Whoops. Hey there, my little lost lambs. Did you just come here just for us? Akira speaks into the microphone, his voice lower than... lower. Whoops. His voice lower than I remember it, decidedly more sensuous. Since when was he this confident? Akira doesn't stammer as he addresses his audience, and neither does he seem at all embarrassed by this form of address, my little lost lambs. The Akira I know never would have come out with a corny line like that. I think he would have died before daring to address a large crowd like this as his lamb. I'm worried my eardrums will burst. Another woman in front of me, meanwhile, lists to one side. It looks like she's at serious... A ripple of excitement spreads through the assembled audience, as contagious as scarlet fever. Akira must have a good 2,000 pairs of eyes trained on him, but he doesn't buckle. He remains unsmiling as he surveys the audience, as so cool and composed he looks almost indifferent. His eyes really are dark. They've been ringed with thick, smudgy eyeshadow, and his pupils look almost black, 2 droplets of tar and like a fisherman's hook through the heart. But this is nothing more than a silly hope on my part. Of course Akira isn't looking at me. How would he... I think he's wearing contacts, dude. I think he might be able to see you. I'm just one of many in this crowd, and I'm not even standing... He can't see me. He'll have no idea I'm here at all, but I can see him. I can see him only too well, his handsome face blown up on the screen at the back of the stage as he lets his gaze sweep across the hall. I see him swallow, watch his throat shift beneath the black velvet choker tie. I'm sure you know. Oh man, what kind of voice should I give him now that he's like older? I'm sure you know this already. So, I hope you enjoy. Oh my god. So, I hope you enjoy and let yourself be consumed by our songs. That is all I ask of you, my lost little lambs. In retrospect, I'm not really sure why I decided to watch Obscure perform. All it's done is made me realize, like I didn't realize it already, just how big the gap, no, the chasm between us has become. I knew Obscure was popular, but seeing Akira stand on stage being swooned over, Akira are one of the most well-known rock bands in Japan now, even bigger than the Blue Hearts at the height of their fame. And I freaking love the Blue Hearts. Came up a lot. That's why we wound up covering several of their songs as the unappreciated egoists. Those really were the days. Me, oh my god. Finally, I accidentally say Mew. Me and Ryo and Taiki and Kei and Akira. But those days feel very, very long ago now. It's been almost a decade since we last sat in the light music club. It's been almost a decade since we last sat in the light music club room together, playing our instruments to pass the time. We've moved on from then, or at least we should have. I doubt Ryo thinks about the unappreciated egoist anymore. He was always the smart one of the group, the one with prospects. I don't know what Kei's doing. I was never that close to him, and I guess I don't care too much. I'm sure he's doing just fine for himself, though. I'd be surprised if he thinks about unappreciated egoists that much either. They've all moved on, and I should have moved on too. I should admire myself in the past like this, but... I sigh again, then bring my whiskey to my lips. I'm not a big whiskey, everything I just saw. Akira on stage, and all of the bright lights, and the adoring screams. It's all a little too much for me to process. I really should have known that this would happen. There's a reason why I've never been to an Obscure concert before, despite following them on and off for the last year, but I never did go see them perform. I told myself not to. I didn't want to see Akira succeed. I didn't think I could stand it. I kept my distance for my own self-preservation, until tonight, of course. Why did my resolve choose to fail me now, after Obscure have finally hit it big? If I'd been to see them earlier in their career, maybe before they were as popular, before the phenomenon that is Eternal Autumn happened, I doubt I would have been as shaken by their success. I'd feel a pang of envy, I guess, but... Oops, there's no but. I feel a pang of envy, I guess, that seeing Obscure earlier, when they were more underground, maybe I could have put that chapter of my life behind me. I could have closed my book on Akira and turned my back foolishly to ignore Obscure's steady rise in popularity. I refused to see them perform, and I tried to pretend they didn't exist, all the while Googling them obsessively. I refused to confront Akira's new fame with my own two eyes. And this fine conclusion. Our high school days didn't fade out slowly, like the last 10 seconds of a pop song. Instead, they cut off abruptly, in the middle of a chord. That's it. Akira and I are over. We finished before there was ever even an Akira. Oops, try that again. We finished before there was even oh my gosh. Why is this so hard to say? We finished before there was... Akira's living a life I can only dream of now. And what about me? I'm just some guy who works in an office who hates my job, who lives paycheck to paycheck in a shitty apartment without any real career prospects or a partner. I don't have anything to look forward to except my inevitable death. A death that'll come by much faster if I keep sitting here feeling sorry for myself, drinking this god-awful whiskey. Ugh, this shit's... I need to down enough liquor to smooth out... Oh my gosh, I need to down enough liquor to smooth out all the sharp, pointed edges of my painful, pathetic jealousy. Then, maybe... That has to be a better trade-off, right? I don't want to cry, not here in this shitty bar which smells of cigarette smoke, surrounded by alternate looking people who probably came here after Obscure's concert, just like me. I don't want to cry at all. That's for sissies. Hey, no. I'm wagging my finger at you, Haruto. Crying is... anybody can cry. Crying is... anybody can feel sad. It's okay to feel your emotions. Crying is not just for women and femme-presenting people. But yeah. This feels like an especially miserable way to spend Christmas Eve, which is generally considered a holiday for couples. Not that I have any lovey-dovey couples at the bar, but I've never felt more isolated. Fuck. I curse under my breath, then press the heel of my right palm against my eyes. It hurt. The other, even more painful things which have been weighing on me. It hurts, but it's nothing I can't deal with. It hurts, but I almost think I deserve it. I'm sick and tired of thinking about Akira. I'm tired of living in his shadow, whether he knows it or not, and having him look down on me all the time, on billboards, or in life-size standees set up in store windows, or in my mind's eyes. I'm exhausted. I drain the last of my whiskey, wincing as it goes down. The stuff never gets easier to tolerate, and slam the glass back down on the table to order another drink, my second whiskey of the night, when... excuse me. Like, excuse me, Naruto, would you? What? Somebody just called out to me, and it definitely was to me. They used my family name and everything, but I have no idea who they could be. About searching for them. Oh dang! Oh my god! And when I do, I start. Oh shit. I never would have expected this, not in a million years, but the person standing next to me at the bar, looking more than a little sheepish, is... My friend? Smiles at me bashfully. He toys with his scarf, then mumbles, "Would you mind not being so loud? I don't want to get spotted." I've wiped off most of my makeup, so it should be a little harder to tell who I am, but some of my fans can be very passionate. I really don't want you to get mobbed hard. Oh my god. I, don't think it would really... Oh my god, what? What? Okay. I, don't think it would really endear you to me. Akira laughs awkwardly, toying with the sleeves of his jacket, and yep, there it is. If I was in any doubt side, this has to be Akira. He might be a celeb now, the most prominent member in one of the most popular bands to come out of Japan in the last, like he did back in school, despite all of the piercings, I mean. If I didn't know Akira from school, I'm not sure I believe that the man standing in front of me is Usui Akira. The Usui Akira. He just doesn't have any presence. His shoulders are slumped, and he has all of Akira's nervous tics. The fiddling with his finger. A sip of tea before I continue. Okay. But he's acting like him down to a T. I mean, I did a mute, right? Oh gosh. Yes, I did. Oh. He's not changed at all. He's here somehow. And he wants to talk to me? What the hell? It's almost like I've gone back 8 years into the past. The time Akira and I spent together in the music club room no longer feels like a dim, distant memory. It feels real and tangible. Something I could reach out and touch if I wanted to. Exhale, letting the tension escape from my shoulders, then say, "Sure thing. See you. Did you come for a celebratory drink after your show?" Something like that, I guess. I swear he's even more worked up about this than I am, then says, "I think part of me was hoping that I'd see you here." What do you mean? What are you talking about? Well, I can explain, but do you mind if I sit down first? I've been on my feet for a while, and I'd like to... Akira laughs lightly, then sinks down into the empty seat beside me. He places an order at the bar for a gin and tonic. That's whiskey, but I'd rather not get shit-faced at the moment. Not when I'm with Akira. That'd be way awkward, especially when I'd like to catch up with the guy. I want to know what he's been up to, and I especially want to know why he came here looking for me. How did he even know I was at his concert? Did he just assume I'd show up because he's such a big... presumptuous. He's always been so mild-mannered, so how? Akira takes a small sip of his gin and tonic while I ponder, in this mealy-mouthed kind of way, which is pretty cute. He shivers a little as the alcohol spreads across his tongue, then sets his drink down. He looks at me, then says, I knew you'd be at this concert. You told me. More or less. Since when? I haven't spoken to you in years. I know that. We've not been in direct contact, at least, but I still follow you. Right, we did follow one another on Twitter, but since this was over 8 years ago, it completely slipped my mind. I don't use social media all that much. I'm not famous, not like Akira, so I guess I've not given my pitiful online presence much thought. I do post on Twitter every once in a while, though. Mostly photographs about the various foods I've been eating or places I've visited on work trips. I've been using it as a photo diary since I was a teenager. Now that I think about it for the show, didn't I? Does that mean Akira saw it? Wait, hold the phone! If Akira's still following me on Twitter, then... I pulled my phone out of my pocket and skimmed through my following list. It's not very large. I have a truly sorry amount of followers despite using Twitter for over a decade. But, aha! I'm Usaki0910. I guess that's Usui Akira mashed together with his birthday tacked onto the end? Wow, real subtle. Her handle isn't much better. I made my account when I was still big into Godzilla. Shut up. Who doesn't like big, oh gosh. Shut up. Who doesn't like giant monsters? So my name is Moth Radiation. Wait, that's actually a really cool username. Oh my goodness. I click onto Akira's Twitter profile in any case, expecting to see some huge account. One with hundreds of thousands of followers, but... for celeb you don't have many followers. You've not even broken 5k. Akira's 5k following is more impressive than my own. I have a measly 180, but still. You'd think somebody as huge as him would have more, when the official obscure Instagram account has over 1 million followers. What gives? I'm curious, but that's my personal account. Nobody knows that it's mine, and I hardly ever use it. I have an official account which was set up for me by... what the... Sykesy? I have a PR person who handles it for me. A PR person, huh? I whistle, then slide my phone back into my pocket. Oh wait, I'm trying to wait. Or... wait. Like that. Get you? You're so fancy now. Thank you? I think that's meant to be a compliment anyway. But if you were wondering, the Kyoiku Bunka Kaikan isn't the biggest venue we've played at, but there were plenty of people and it was rather dark. It was hard to make out too much of the crowd. I didn't get a chance to glimpse you, so I figured I'd try my luck after the show. I went into a couple of the bars by the concert hall looking for you, and I guess the third time really is a charm. You went to all of that effort just for me? Of course I did. You're my friend, Haruto. I know it's been a while since we last spoke. I could have DM'd you, I suppose, but it would have felt too awkward. But I have wanted to see you again. I've been wondering how you've been doing, and, well... Akira shifts on his seat. He brushes a few strands of dark hair behind his pale ear, his black polish glinting in the dim lights of the bar, and says, I can't help but feel like we left things off on a sour note. It's never quite sat right with me how things panned out between us. You're living your life, and it seemed like you moved on, so I don't want to dredge up any bad memories. But I still feel like I should apologize. If I did anything to upset you, I really am sorry. I never intended that to happen. And Akira, I thought I'd overcome my initial shock at seeing him again after all of these years, but in a hurry, the legs of my chair scraping sharply against the floor. Akira looks surprised by this. I can't help but note how he jumps, but damn. What am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to feel? He can't hit me with all of this mushy bullshit. I still think of you as a friend after all of these years. What is this, a scene from a girl's romance story? I'm certainly blushing enough to be a heroine in a reverse harem story. Shit. Shit. I need to get to the bathroom stat before Akira sees just how deeply I've been affected by all of this. I don't want him to think I've caught feelings for him or anything. That would be ridiculous, obviously. I don't like him like that, but... Oh, that's fine. Take as much time as you need. I hurry away from the bar. Akira's in and out, with one hand pressed to my chest. I can feel my heart beneath my splayed fingers. I can positively feel it thumping. I take a few moments to try and steady myself, then approach the mirrors above the sinks, lined with grubby-looking taps. Though the bar itself is hopping, the bathroom itself is empty, an unexpected but much welcomed surprise. There's nobody to watch me, therefore, as I stare at my sorry reflection in the mirror, back from the strain, then my skin starts to turn white. All the while I stare into the mirror, my shoulders trembling. Seeing Akira again has brought all sorts of memories rushing to the surface. In the memory of our last performance, as the unappreciated egoist hangs between us, a black cloud on our former friendship. If we ever were friends, that is. As for the few months we were both part of Minato High's light music club. But that fell apart pretty spectacularly during the school culture festival, and I'm not sure how. My phone alarm didn't go off, so Kohane had to haul my sorry ass out of bed. I guess Mom sent her to harass me. My sister can be very persuasive, because she sat on me and started poking me, sprinkling toast crumbs all over my catatonic body as she did. Hey, Haruto, wake up, you lazy bum. Get out late. That's what my little sister said in this smug and nasally voice of hers through a mouthful of masticated toast. She kept on poking and prodding at me like I was some specimen, which so was not cool. Her harassment did do the trick, however. It managed to wake me up pretty quickly, but I was in an awful state. I yelled at Kohane to fuck off and leave me alone and away. I only had a few minutes to get ready. I wound up pulling on my clothes in a rush, and when I got to the breakfast table, my mom had to tell me that my shirt was on while eating my breakfast. I was already over it after I set off, and things didn't get better when I arrived at school. I don't know if I had any sorts of problems with our performance. We were scheduled to perform near the end of the day at 14:30 in the gymnasium, right after the drama club had finished their amateur performance of Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead. But this didn't pan out. The drama club's play wound up running late by a whopping 15 minutes, and they didn't bother cleaning up any of which brought on even more difficulties. Kay had gotten bored of waiting, and he'd gone off to flirt with his girlfriend in Class 2B's maid cafe, so Rio and I had to go haul his sorry ass back into the gym. My drum set really should have been moved earlier in the day, but I guess nobody remembered, which made it a horrible rush job. Hauling my drums, nearly setting our shit up. Rio dropped his amplifier, which broke it, so his bass was all muffled and muddy for the whole performance. It really fucking sucked. We were supposed to go on stage around 14:30, but in the end, we didn't get on stage until 15:15, by which point, most of our audience had already drifted off to do other things. These songs from our shitty light music club with the shitty self-effacing name. We didn't have enough time to play through our whole set. We were promised half an hour, but this wound up being 15 minutes, and we had to cut out a few songs on the fly, which was pretty confusing. Our opening song went well enough despite all of these hiccups, at least I think it did, but we wound up losing our tempo near the end, and by the time the second song started, we were an awful, uncoordinated mess. I think each and every one of us fucked up something, other than Akira, that is. He at least was able to handle himself flawlessly. He played through his songs without making a single mistake. Disaster of a performance in all aspects, a pathetic joke which wasn't low, had been reduced to a sorry 20 by the end of our little show, and a few of our peers heckled us in the bargain. 20 isn't that bad, but that kind of sucks that they got made fun of. Somebody even threw a bottle of water onto the stage, which hit Kay in the head. Sure, it didn't do anything. Not hard exactly for the show, but we very last show as the unappreciated egoists. The last time we would all stand together on a stage and perform, though for Akira, I guess it was the very first time. It was supposed to be something special, and I guess in a way it was. The concert was such a disaster, I'm sure it went down in infamy among the alumni of Minato High as being really fuck that shitty concert knows what Akira went on to become. That he's now become a celebrity. But though I've done to find people from Minato High sharing dirt about Kira, associating I guess our concert was, unless they think they're two different Akiras. Excuse me. Let me take another sip of tea. Whew, jeez. He sure has changed a lot over the years. We simply hadn't had the time, and he never did confide in me after the concert. I still have no idea what he wanted to say. I didn't stick around so he could ask. I didn't want to speak with any members of our band. Lisa trying to console me when I fucked up so many times would have been impossibly painful. I didn't want to endure it, so I didn't try to. I didn't hang around after school, and I never did go back to the light music club either. My love affair with the drums was well and truly over. I assumed an air of nonchalance during the lead-up, but in actuality, I think I care a lot. I must have done. Else it wouldn't have stayed with me so much all of these years later. That's exactly what I was. No, what I am. After that little debacle, I decided to give up on music. I jacked the whole thing in, got rid of my drum kit and everything, and I never felt much in the way of regrets. I'd never been all that crazy about the drums. It was just a hobby I picked up to pass the time, one which wound up sticking, though I'm not sure how. I know I had a few dreams of being part of a band, something bigger than Nirvana one day, playing to a sold-out stadium full of adoring fans. But let's be real here. My dreams had precisely zero chance of ever coming true. Actually get signed. It's not just about being talented either. There's a whole load of luck which goes into it. There's plenty of dedicated musicians who are way, way better than I am, who spend their anyway. I pigeonholed myself as a freaking drummer. Who the hell would care about his drummer? Real become bassists, because nobody knows what they even do, but being a drummer is way worse. I might very well have dedicated my life to playing the maracas or the triangle. I knew I'd never be able to become famous, not like my favorite bands, and even if I kept at it, what would be the point? Practice takes time, and maintaining my equipment would cost money that I didn't want to spend. I'd already told myself that I was going to quit the drums when I graduated. I knew that my final performance at my school's culture festival would be my last time on stage, whether it went well or not. Sure, if our performance, I might have been convinced to keep at it on the side, and maybe I would have joined a band or two once I started uni as a fun thing on the side. But our last performance sucked, and I sucked, and everything seemed... My mother asked me half-heartedly if I was sure I wanted to quit, when I'd been at it for a few years, but I think she was secretly pretty pleased I wasn't going to be making such a racket at odd hours, and I know my parents were relieved to put that chapter of their lives behind them. I quit playing the drums, and I quit going to the light music club. I dedicated myself to myself. It was silly trying to cling to them. I faced the real world. I didn't hear from any of the guys in the band after I graduated, not even Rio, who I'd always been close to. I guess we were too busy with our own lives. We didn't hang out anymore into the unforgiving world of adults. Though I always did think, when I happened to ponder my time spent in the light music club, that it'd be a shame if Akira quit the guitar. He was always leaps and bounds better than the rest of us, and he was so dedicated too. If any of us had a chance to go pro, I figured it would be Akira. I couldn't imagine him trying to hack it as a musician on his own. It seemed completely contrary to his character, so much so the idea was almost laughable. Uncomfortable, and I figured he would have been hit by our failure at bar, just like I quit the drums. I didn't have much to succeed. Otherwise the word also... What the heck? Trying not to dwell on it. Why did it matter if he quit playing the guitar? Why did I care? I didn't care. Why get so worked up about some guy I played in a crappy high school band with for 6 months? It was pointless. I was sure Akira would have become some low-paying corporal wage slave like me, his dreams of playing on stage abandoned, but I was wrong. I might have given up, but Akira never did. He kept right on playing, forming his own band in university, which turned out his earliest iteration of Obscure, went through a few changes, but Akira was always there. He kept plugging away, playing at live houses and bars across Tokyo, until he eventually caught the eye of some higher up in the industry. Obscure was scouted by a big record label, Sykesky. Sykesky? University, a baby-faced third-year student, and with 5 years since then, and now Obscure is a household name. Akira was able to make his dream come true. He made something of himself, while I never could. I betrayed my childhood self, and for what? So I could have some low-paying office job with long, stressful hours? Why did I give up on my dreams? Why didn't I try a little bit harder? These thoughts have been tormenting me on the daily ever since I found out about Obscure's success, and it's only gotten worse as they've become more popular. I should be happy for Akira. After all of these years, what am I supposed to do? I stare at my reflection in the mirror for what feels like a small eternity, my eyes aching. How dim and gloomy it is in the bar itself, and they're stinging. They feel a little watery, actually. But no, I'm not gonna cry. Not in a fucking bathroom over Usui fucking Akira. It's ancient history. It's over and done with, and there's no point in probing that particular wound anymore. Just move on, man. Get over yourself. I inhale sharply, trying to stem my approaching tears, but it doesn't quite work. I squeeze my eyes shut, grinding my teeth together when... What's up with you, man? Is something wrong? I start at the sound of a deep masculine voice, though this one at least is unfamiliar, and whip my head about. And I guess he was in the middle of a conversation. It seemed like a pretty lively conversation, but he pauses when he sees me, hunched up all pathetic like in front of the mirror. His expression softens and he says, "Did something happen, bro? You doing okay?" "Oh no, I'm fine." The man raises an eyebrow. I don't think he quite believes me, but he doesn't probe. There's a pause, then, "Well, I hope you feel better soon. Hang in there, bro." "Thanks," too self-conscious and a little crooked, then make to leave the restroom. I did feel like sobbing, and I came dangerously close to it, in fact, but seeing this man has sobered me up a little. How can I cry after another 10 minutes of Akira, if that, and then I'll go home. I'll drink my highball, I'll tell Akira it was nice to see him again, and I'll leave. I'll take the train back to Ebetsu half an hour, and I can put this confusing, intense, emoting Akira again. And it is nice to me. But I don't think I should. That sounds way too morbid. That's what I tell myself, at least. Haruto! Brown eyes seem to light up when he sees me, and he smiles. Did he really miss me that much? But, hey, Akira only needs to glance at me for a few moments before his face furrows in obvious concern. "Are you alright?" Damn, what am I supposed to say? The truth of the matter, which should, I think, be self-evident, is that I'm never wants from me. I look down at my feet, then mumble, "Yeah, I'm fine." "Are you sure?" Akira examines me, his dark eyes gentle, even without his glasses, back in school. "This place isn't too noisy, is it? We can move if you'd rather." "Oh?" I reply before I can stop myself, before I can tamp down on the words ready to spill from my mouth. We could be teenagers again, 17 and 18 respectively, still a part of the unappreciated egoists. He sounds so much like his old self, I find myself blurting out, Do you want me to... Oh my gosh. Do you want to get me on my own that badly? Huh? I know I'm probably crossing some sort of line, not when his reactions are still so earnest. It's kind of fun, actually, making a guy like Akira go to pieces like this. I wonder what that says about me. Could I really be a sadist? Akira's eyes widen, and he stammers, "No, that's not what I meant. I was just worried about you, since you look a little down. I'm just teasing. I know you didn't mean anything weird by it. You're not that kind of guy, are you?" And what sort of guy do you think I am, exactly? The sort of guy that I thought I would. Is the whiskey finally kicking in? I feel like my mood has done a real 180 since I was in the bathroom, close to sobbing. I got myself all worked up back then, but seeing Akira has not take this so seriously. I should just talk to him the way I always did when we were both teens. How hard can it be? I give him a gentle nudge and say, "I know you're not the sort of guy who'd take advantage of a fan after... In fact, you might be a little too clean. I was hoping you'd live it up at least a little, now you're so famous. But I guess you're just as dedicated to your But I guess you..." Well, I don't know about that. It's not like I don't have, feelings. But wait, why are we talking about this? A fan? I raised an eyebrow and then you guys have put out, but I was kinda into gray flowers for a gloomy girl. Some of your songs are pretty good, and I did come all of this way to watch you perform, so that probably makes me a fan. I don't know what else I would be at this point. Then you don't... Almost admirable, actually, especially coming from a guy like Akira. He's so awkward. I figured it'd take him a load of umming and ahhing, and maybe another... Though I guess I've been seeing him in a new light for the last 5 years, so... Is it really new? Since Obscure debuted. I've always found Akira impressive, even back in school, when he clearly didn't think that he was. I found him even more so about, even now I can see his hands are shaking. This conversation must be taking a lot out of him, which makes me feel more at ease by contrast. We can't both be nervous. We were all that close back in high school, but I never hated you. I guess I wouldn't mind being your friend. But it's been 8 years since then. I'd be surprised if you still cared about my opinion all that much, although... Then recrossed my legs, and then... Maybe I shouldn't be. I mean, this is just a hunch, but your newest song, Eternal Autumn. I thought it might have been a coincidence, and the falling leaves. That was about me, was that they do now, magnified behind the lenses of the glasses he'd now given up on. A faint blush spreads across his cheeks, but he doesn't jerk his head away. He inhales, then says, "So, you noticed?" It was hard not to. The first time I heard it, I had this feeling right here. About to me, I guess you could say. If that's easier than the guy who dedicated a song to one of his classmates he's not seen in 8 years. I smile wryly, while Akira's face turns even redder. I was sure that song was your festival. The things you didn't get a chance to say, left unsaid, I just knew what it was about. I was sure it was about me, though that made it really freaking awkward, you know, hearing it when I was trying to get my Christmas shopping done. It was embarrassing about me. Nobody would have believed me. I would have sounded like a crazy person. In fact, it made me feel like I was going crazy, listening to that song all the time. It was driving me of how that song would make me feel, huh? Your permission. It must be. I mean, it's so different from Obscure's other songs. Toa was pretty dismissive of... oh my goodness, dismisses of Cell, but Mr. Terumasa thought it might make a nice change of pace. He said it would be good to experiment, but that's all it was meant to be, an experiment. It wasn't even released as a single. It was just some throwaway filler track on Polychromia. At least, that's what it was supposed to be. But then it was picked up, and it became a big deal to hear it. But maybe part of me wanted you to hear it. Were you hoping I'd connect the dots? Maybe. I was worried, I guess, that that I'd lost my chance forever. I just wanted to tell you the things I'd always wished I could say. Thank you. And I wanted you to know that I wouldn't be here. A bit embarrassing. I want you to have faith in me. And saying a lot of sappy stuff, so of course I'm gonna be... Where's all this coming from, man? I was so paranoid for a second. Now that's all. And most of the time when Akira rambled to me, I don't think I was a good self-sacrifice. Pretty skeptical, but you did more than just that. You shouldn't put yourself down. Isn't that what you always told me? I have always been a bit of a sums up this guy to up... Oh, wow, that word, any of my accomplishments would be fair to you, but I suppose part of that is because of my mother. Not that she was ever unreasonable. She never had any lofty expectations of me, like other mothers might. She just should be working harder. I didn't want to let improving. I think I forgot why I picked up the guitar in the first place. In the end, it became another obligation. I was so determined to improve, it started to stress me out. But you told me not to worry so much. Always really supportive too. I still remember when you told me about me. I know this happened a long time ago. It's about 8 years too late, yeah. You encouraged me, whether you know it or not. I believe that some nobody like me could have inspired you with me. He sounds very earnest. Back when we were still in school, that I could be a little bit more like you. That I could simply not care as much about what other people thought. thought it was kind of cool, actually. Really amazing. For an audience and how to become more confident. I was quite happy, actually, when you gave me that advice. It was reassuring, and I remember thinking in that moment, and I guess that feeling never quite went away. Oh! I blink, a blush spreading across my cheeks. Akira's confession is soft and understated. It's pretty ambiguous, just like a lot of obscure songs. Their lyrics tend to be songs are even about. I've seen a lot of debate online about the precise meaning of Eternal Autumn, and that's one of their more clear-cut songs. It's clearly a love song. Maybe we wouldn't have drifted apart. Grabs at his phone, fumbles it, and very nearly drops dilly-dallying. I'm so sorry, Haruto. Lost in thoughts, trapped in my own snow globe of fall, just thinking about that. I was thinking about those moments I spent with Akira on the roof, precious moments that I can only appreciate in hindsight. At the time, I didn't realize that afternoon would be so... it's fine. I should be able to make it if I can manage it. First though, we've gotta pay. All been taken care of. It has? It's made me think of Hitman movies. But also... Fucking hell, Akira. Why'd you go? We were out on some kind of date. And you're making a statement just now. It's embarrassing. It wasn't supposed to be a date. I didn't even know that you would humor me. I thought I might as well pay for your half of the... Feels like the least I could do. And it really was. Drinks ain't gonna bankrupt you. You didn't even ask me if it was alright. For you. You're making me feel like your sugar baby. Once. What do you want me to do next? Light... It's kind of cute, bad boy, but Akira's still a total dork. Turn. I'm just trying to be nice. There's no such thing as a free lunch or free drink, and even if they don't, it puts the other person at a disadvantage. Now I owe you. Can't you see how awkward this is? I suppose I see your... You've been very good to me. On a sour note, so you're just gonna ditch me? I've taken up enough... but I don't want to impose and... Sorry, but if there's one thing I can't stand, it's guys who flaunt me. So, you need to make it up to me. The night's still pretty young, and we're not teenage. Kira opens his mouth. Duh. I would have asked others. It's sneaky. My all that fuss that Akira picked up the bill, but I don't want this night to end. Not just yet. I was finally reunited with Akira after all these years, and he even said that he liked me. It isn't autumn anymore. It's bitterly cold outside. But now I've finally gotten my stupid feeling. It doesn't take much wheedling for me to talk Akira around. We're at the hotel with the other members of Obscure. With you? Oh, Jesus. So I think it should be fine. I doubt. I'm afraid I'd just get in the way. That's what he wouldn't have invited you back with me if I didn't want to hang out grades back in school, but Toa says. How our conversation went, more or less. No. I rebuffed him, and now it looks like I've gotten my way on it, despite all of our bickering about the bill. And the point to me and 0 to Akira. We sit on the train in silence, watching as Sapporo apartment stores, which eventually give way to these smaller, dingier little apartment buildings. It takes about half an hour to get from Sapporo station to save for the odd salaryman who stayed out a bit too late drinking. There's this red-faced guy in the back of the train who looks almost catatonic. His head keeps shifting back and forth in rhythm, who's frantically texting on her phone. I wonder if she got it across her screen at a mile a minute. The carriage is more or less deserted. Them is saying very much. This is so painfully awkward. Will recognize Akira. But I can't help but feel paranoid. This paranoia feels sharp and spiky. Then how the hell must he feel about it? Risk for him. Is that another attention to himself? But nobody I'm sure it'll be fine. I hope it'll be. We're able to disembark. It stopped snowing for now at least, and the temperature... Okay, let me take another sip of water. Maintain itself. So much so my breath escapes through my mouth in small... Excuse me. He doesn't even have a coat, not like me. He's still wearing and look at all that snug, and his trousers have a bunch of holes in them. I'm worried that he's freezing. Only he's too polite to say anything, the poor guy. My house is a good 10-minute walk away from the get through the streets. Akira might be a... Hey, Haruto. Akira suddenly spoken to me since we stepped on the train, and it stops me to hear him out. I sniffle, trying to make it... and ask him what's up. Yeah, my apartment's just around these streets in the dark, not when it's gone midnight, but I was actually hoping we could go for a bit of a walk. Blows, snaking down the back of my coat. I'm on the train for so long. And get my bearings. And don't you think the star statement, his voice a little too hopeful, was the same as always? Sorry. One. I don't get why he's so determined to stay out. Oh my god. Don't mind, that is. Well, that is the freeze to death. You're more than welcome. And any gloves? What's wrong with you? Well, Kitami. My very north of the north? That's right. Times it get down to the -10s even. Damn. That's kind of hardcore. How did you survive? I spent a lot of time under the kotatsu, mostly. After living, but it looks like you do. But I guess I didn't bank on you being cool. There, Haruto, with that. I was a human the last time I checked. And I don't have scales either, if you're curious. You certain, bro? Yeah, I imagine sliding Akira's shirt up. Maybe later. Is there a park near here? Yeah, there is people around there at this hour. But I'm gonna go out on a limb and say you'd prefer that. How did you know? Just a lucky guess. I know you've never really been able to become some sort of international sex symbol. So we both set off. We went our way down the snowy road companions and lightly says, I don't see my appeal either. I don't think I'm anything that special. But my manager always tells me I need to fake it until I make it. And I guess it paid off in the end. A guy like me. Well, and I've never forgotten. But I'm surprised anything I said stuck with you. It's not like I gave you anybody could have come out with that BS. You were the only one who seemed to take me seriously. You're my first fan, of course. What? I wonder. I found his self-effacing attitude future prospects because of his own stupid misplaced shyness. Akira transferred into Minato High late, but the two of us continued to walk. Look a little... But the stars are kind of pretty, but it's icy cold out here. We're the Arctic Circle, but I'm fucking freezing. It looks special even during the daytime. Nobody here, just like I anticipated. Since it is, the park is this empty, yawning mass of things in a slide, but the equipment's all rusted over. Hey, Akira. Just like it did when I first arrived. Why did you ask me to go on a walk? I did ask it pretty suddenly, or at least he tries to. I wanted to stretch my legs, and I thought it would be why you asked me on a walk, and we both know it. Be out when he saw my Twitter post. Maybe even more, which he was forced to swallow down. Celebrity, and I'm a nobody. I should be coming me, but I think beneath the shade of a large oak tree. Concerned, yes, but that's to be expected. I know I'm asking, and he knows I'm asking something. But no matter how tense the atmosphere between us is, Akira is bad good at subtlety. Even the songs might seem complicated. Or at least, that's what I think. Say it again. Haruto. Akira very dark, not at all abashed, like he usually is. There's something intense about him, something from school, but the one on stage, Usa, did tell him to fake it until he made it. Why does he get to look so cool? Would I be the blushing maiden? Why? Any reply. There's a pause, pathetic as far as replies go, but Akira doesn't. I liked you a lot back in school, when you were always... This might sound somewhat... It was hard for me to make friends, and I did move to South. I was afraid I wouldn't be able to settle in or to me, whether you realized it or not, because you wanted to help me. So, it was probably inevitable that just above his heart, his fingers curl against... And I still like you. Maybe it'd be more accurate to say there was something a woman's went so poorly, but... Akira's voice tried my own, so I tremble. I think I've already made it obvious. But that's a lot to hit a person with, isn't it? Maybe for anything to come from it. In fact, have you ever liked me at all? I don't know if you saw me like that. It's not like we were ever... I mean, I can get pretty set in my ways, but I really don't want to be pushy about a relationship because of my celebrity status. Loser. I cut Akira off, but he does make a funny squeaking sound like an old dog together now on account of him being a celeb, but apparently not. It's of an awkward, acne-riddled teenager. No problems. It's way easier to ask people how. Now, let's do this again. A shift in his throat. For a guy, he has stupidly long, pretty lashes. Awkward silence, and then... Obliged. If you don't return my feelings, not worth you dwelling on. So, I decide to silence him. I lean in. Akira might be some big shot whose face. Get this. It doesn't matter how famous this guy is. Bridge asked Nishikino Haruto. And by the sounds of it, he's liked me for a really long. He felt. Akira's always been like that. Celeb, his self-esteem is astoundingly. Tell me how he felt. So of course I'm gonna answer him, and he's had a thing for me. I have to kiss him. How could I not? I'm not really the sappy sort, so I'd rather not come out with it. Not in words, at least. It'd be embarrassing, after all, to hit Akira with the whole too awkward to tell you. And then we graduated, and I keep kissing his stupid face, he'll get the So his lower lip, but as it turns out, I lean in too far, kind of uneven. I must have stepped on something against Akira's, and wouldn't you know it, he whines bones, and I guess he was already flustered because of that kiss. Because he doesn't even try to steady himself. Maybe he can't. He falling through our hair. Oof! Well, if there's one silver lining to all of this, not quite as hard as concrete would be. A lot worse. But it could have been better too. Somewhere else tomorrow. It's an obscure... Sexy. I stare down at Akira, who's lying on the grass beneath me. I think I'll be... To my surprise, he begins to laugh. Thud, but maybe not. He seems to be alright. Upper bowl damage to him, but... Like, our roles have been reversed. So concerned. But it's kind of cute beneath me. I can't say I really get it. Was it worried about you too? I thought I'd really hurt you. Hey! Haruto, what do you... No, stop! Don't put your hands there. You... To his supine body without cease, so he splutters. I tickle him for a while, venting out all of my frustrations. 8 years worth of jealousy and bitterness and resentment. I give. But Akira's voice snaps me out of my musings. He stares at me, his face a little flushed. His hair more than a little rumpled as he says, Maiden in the dark. There's something you're not telling me, dude? You to find out if you really want. But around. I'm not that daring. I figured as much. For a guy who wears so much, you've not been involved in a single scandal. No offense. Some take it. If only you'd given me a chance. Oh yeah? I mean, it's not like I want to sweep you off your feet. Something like that. And you're just proving my point. You might not be as cool as your fans think you. Times I do worry my fans would be disappointed. Hey, how could I be disappointed in you? A thing for puppies. Puppies? Would you like it? Would you like it? Oh my god. Mashed potatoes from... Would you like it? You're the one who avoided me back in school, you jerk. You were. And you must have terrible... Akira opens his mouth. It's not possible, so you might as well give up. So I do. Akira looks up at me. I cup his face, holding it. The absurdity of the situation, but I think I'm laughing at a guy like Usui Akira, the most popular musicians in Japan, has had a flame time passing. Akira's always been intense, and with me too. I mean, what's this mingling in the chill air? We lie there in the grass, flushed, until our laughter eventually melts, fully able to believe my luck. I exhale, my full shut. Haru continues on and on, as the wind sighs. Oh my gosh. Wow, that was really good. Pretty straightforward. Yeah, bye. Thank you. Oh, there's still more. If anything, I think it's even colder than it was. There's only a few days in the months left, which fill the sky. Not like Akira, and I feel it easily. Weeks following New Year's, a miserable affair. January in particular is a real letdown. It might be even worse. Sure, it has February and Sapporo's fucking freezing. In the pre-Akira man, I can't believe when you called yourself a fan maiden, but I'm serious. And perhaps more importantly, the post-Akira since then. I didn't get to see Akira on tour. Uh-oh. My phone died. Crap. That's great. I'll open up. Dropped frames. Oh no. What the heck? It's not good. Okay. Not my freaking earphones disconnecting too. Oh my gosh. Oh no. That's a bummer. I might need to unlist. How long has it been doing that? Oh jeez. Check see. Oh man. Thoughts of the game and then ended there. Because Obscure was still on tour. They Fukuoka January, and even then he's been in high demand sorts of TV shows, and he's been doing a fair bit of model, thankfully. Think up, much less think up. That's right, I'm afraid I'm going to be stuck playing Eternal. I'm proud of the song, but even I'm too. I think Transparent Blue was my feel. Maybe this is the unions off this single song, then you better stop. Noah hates me now, because Eternal Autumn overshadowed everything else on the album so much. And fuck everything else we've recorded. I could tell at this point that he's mealy-mouthed as a choir boy. The other band members tell me not to worry. Rosario said he's happy enjoying his time in the limelight, but I still feel kind of guilty. Melodramatic, but Eternal Autumn really does Christmas gifts back in December. But I guess I'm good, and he blushed in response, abashed. So, as you probably gathered, as it turns out, having a relationship with one of the most. Akira himself lives in Tokyo, which I feel a bit embarrassed actually about it. He doesn't really comment on my apartment that much actually. He's never looked his nose down at me for my meager living arrangements. But he's also never to his condemnation just fine. I mean, it is science. I don't need to be reminded of the sheer gulf and huge celebrity. But despite that, he's visited me a handful of times since we still a bit of a ways away, and the tickets are expensive, though, which is part of the problem. I don't want to rely on gathered immense. Though I'm probably the guy. The thought probably they get their hands on this story and all of the news and all a one thing. And for unworthy, I don't have a criminal record at least. So posit, is Usui Akira dating a schlub? Shikino have some sort of blackmail material? We've been keeping a relationship on the down low. I guess and gaps during his busy schedule. And hell, I've even been playing with him a little. But I didn't give up music for good. I did when I moved into this apartment a few years back. But I've been playing it more since I started to date. Like he's my muse in a sense. The tolerant, and I wouldn't want to make him ill. See one another very often, too high, and his skills have a band. But while Akira seemed to mind, he still asks me for cozy. But sleeping in as he dozes, his hair frizzing and falling in slumber. It's not, he's dead to the world. His eyes still, and for that choker, vulnerable and exposed, but he looked even sexier to legs spread, his face flushed as I brought our body. We did work up a bit of a sweat in his hair. My nails brush against his scalp. He's always looking at least, but the time has passed now. The sky like powdered sugar. Coating the street here is prettier. It's kind of lead singer from Oral Vampire, because Obscure News. I've seen the same grainy photo for so much time to be dedicated. Apparently, Risa's a lesbian, and she's trying to make a move on her. And neither would anyone to this story, but it's a lot of to worry about it, Haruto. You know that you're the only person. He was pretty explicit about it, which was kind of, but I can't deny, it made me happy. His dark hair poses many grainy photographs. I know that Akira's with me. I don't know if I'm quite as sappy as he is, but I smile at Akira as he lies there, curled on his side. And very softly, I press the end. Oh, that was so sweet. Wow, there's dropped frames again. Gosh, I don't know what's going on. Okay, I don't think there's too much minus that. The ending was, so I am very satisfied. Gallery. Oh, these two. Oh, there's there's extra stuff here. Cool. The way to see. Dang, that's disappointing. Oh man. My throat. I think I will read this that you can play the game yourself. I'm very excited to stuff. But yeah, this we will probably just unlist it. It's unwatchable. I don't want that. Well, for now, I will let so I will try to end this here because I'm also feeling a little bit dizzy. Hope you all have a good rest of your day or night. Sorry, the description below. The drop frame thing is fine. But yeah. Bye bye!